Chapter 418. Just as the Hunter Emperor was leading his master toward the Earth Village map, a large group of players walked toward them. We can finally enter Nyeyuan Village. We are the second batch to officially enter Nyeyuan Village, right? Yes, the first batch of people, especially Wild Wave and the others, have all gone to Free City. Nyeyuan Village is actually the real Level 2 map. Our Earth Village can only be considered as a preschool at most. Stop complaining. It's already good that we can adapt to this difficulty level in 2 months. Now, the strength of our Earth players has finally become stronger. Isn't the slogan of the Earth Alliance to cultivate more nameless mad gods? This is an opportunity for all of us. Everyone, develop well and don't let others bully us anymore. The middle-aged man lifted his chin slightly, narrowed his eyes, and glanced at the group. Xiao Lai, are they from Earth? Master, they have been talking about the Earth Village. They should be the Earth players. The man nodded slightly. The next second, he suddenly moved and instantly appeared in front of the group, blocking the path of the leader. The leader was a representative of the British military, ID Duke Steel Knight. At this time, he suddenly realized that someone had appeared in front of him inexplicably. He was also stunned. That person had his hands behind his back with an arrogant expression. It seemed that he had no intention of giving way. Steel Knight immediately raised his hand and motioned for the group to stop. His expression was solemn. The strength of the Earth players was indeed strong. However, anyone with half a brain knew how dangerous it was in the Level 2. They were definitely not a strong force in the Level 2. The decision-makers of the Earth Alliance had already said that when they left the Earth Village, they must keep a low profile and not cause trouble. They must first develop wretchedly. It was not easy for a group of tens of thousands of people to stop. Fortunately, there were many military players to help control the group. The group finally stopped. A Huaxia officer also realized that they seemed to have encountered a problem. Xia, I will go and communicate with them first. You calm the others. Okay, leave it to me. However, before the Duke could step forward, the other party spoke first. You are from Earth? The Duke said, Yes, sir. What can I do for you? The man snorted disdainfully. He swept his gaze across the crowd and shook his head. What kind of trash are these? There are indeed a lot of parasites in the Jyotin. There are so many people and so many resources wasted. They really should be wiped out. The expressions of many Earth players in the front row changed slightly. The Duke spoke quickly to prevent anyone from losing control of their emotions. Sir, we're just ordinary players. That person didn't listen to the Duke at all. Instead, he shot out a sword aura without warning. The sword aura transformed into a sword aura that was dozens of meters long. It instantly pierced through the formation of the Earth's players. In the blink of an eye, the 30-meter-wide straight line in the middle of the tens of thousands of soldiers was filled with corpses. There were also 2 debuffs on the corpse. Debuff, forced full sense of pain. When killed, full sense of pain will be activated. Debuff, soul break. Respawn time extended by 12 hours. Players will not be able to respawn within 12 hours. Duke Steel Knight, the various adjutants, and the regiment commander all looked behind them in shock. Their eyes were filled with shock, followed by anger. The man didn't seem to care about their anger. His expression was indifferent. I've already said that trash like you should be killed immediately so that you don't have to fight for resources with others. We didn't provoke you. Why do you want to kill us? There's no reason. It's just that I want to kill you. The man smiled slightly. Then, a long sword slowly rose from his back. Not only do I want to kill all of you, but I also want to kill all 3 billion of you. Until your strongest person is willing to come out and be ravaged by me. 3 sword transformations. In the blink of an eye, the long sword behind the man transformed into 3 illusions. Then, the 3 illusions became extremely huge. They directly swept through the entire army from behind the Duke. When Duke Steel Knight turned around, he was already scared out of his wits. Behind him, there were corpses everywhere. 57,444 people. 57443 people had been killed. He was the only one who survived. What kind of horrifying technique was this? Killing close to 60,000 people in an instant. The speed was so fast that none of the second batch of strong people who rushed out of the Earth village had time to dodge or react. They were directly killed. Sigh, killing these trash really dirties my sword. Do you know why I didn't kill you? The man's voice was low and lazy. Pass my words to Nameless. Tell him that there's a price to pay for his arrogance. I'm tired today. Tomorrow, I'll slaughter all 3 billion of your people. The man smiled slightly. His fairy-like smile, coupled with his handsome face, gave off a creepy feeling. He has the ability to stop me. Remember, only Nameless can stop me. If he doesn't come, or if you find some random cat or dog, I have 100 ways to flatten your Earth village. Hunter Emperor looked at the scene in shock. Master's strength increased again. The damage that was dodged just now was 880,000. That was an AoE skill. With such a large area and such a good effect, how could the damage reach 880,000? This was not something that could be done by a human. Could this be the strength of a Tier 3 realm? Moreover, Master had only casually swung his sword. It was obviously impossible for Master to use his strongest move against these small fries. That's great. Hunter Emperor's eyes were bloodshot. If Nameless doesn't come out, he'll be cursed by billions of people. By then, even if he knows that he can't win, he can't run. Haha, this is the most interesting part. Let him be killed in front of his people. If he loses his dignity in the game, he won't be able to raise his head outside the game. Master is indeed master. Not only does he kill people, but he also kills their hearts. Steel Knight Duke returned to Earth Village and reported what happened to him to the Earth Alliance. You said that person killed tens of thousands of people in one hit? That's our elite team. They should have more than 700,000 HP per person. Steel Knight Duke's face darkened as he endured the pain. It was indeed a one-hit kill. He purposely left me alive because, as the leader, it was humiliating for a warrior to be the only one alive. Steel Knight Duke's eyes were bloodshot as he endured the pain. Because he wanted me to tell Nameless that he will come tomorrow and slaughter all 3 billion people on Earth unless Nameless can stop him. What? Is this guy a psychopath? Even if he had a personal dispute with Nameless, why does he want to slaughter all the players on Earth? Doesn't he know that it's not his family's fault? But Nameless has fallen. The only one who can stop him now is Mad God. Mad God has no obligation to us. Will he come? Steel Knight Duke shook his head and said, Everyone, that person said that only Nameless can stop him. If it's anyone else, he will most likely use other methods to wipe out Earth Village. Nameless is now at the first level of heaven. How can he stop him? I think he wants to kill Nameless. Steel Knight Duke frowned. He knew that Lu Chen had been beaten back to the first level of heaven. That meant that Nameless and Mad God were no longer there. If that was the case, then there was no way to avoid this calamity. An enemy like that was beyond their understanding. It was far beyond the strength of all the masters they knew. He could take tens of thousands of lives with a raise of his hand. 3 billion people was probably just a number to him. Chapter 419. Spirit Condensation Mountain Range. After 9 days of cultivation, Lu Chen had already completed the first transformation of Divine and Demon. Now, the two skills finally displayed their complete attributes. Divine Transformation. Current attributes of self and divine pets are increased by 150%. All attacks are 100% converted to lightning-type attacks, controllable ratio. Duration, 180 seconds. Cooldown, 24 hours. Demon Transformation. All types of damage of self and divine pets are increased by 300%. All attacks are 100% converted to dark-type attacks, controllable ratio. At the same time, you will be punished by the heavens and receive 5% of your maximum health every second. The strength of the divine transformation was that the attribute increase was not the increase of the basic attributes but the current attributes. This was different from most of the techniques that Lu Chen had that added attributes. The divine transformation even improved the effects of equipment and techniques. The weakness was that the duration was too short. 3 minutes for a man would be weak for an entire day. Compared to the divine transformation, the demon transformation was more violent. Direct attacks were increased by 300%. However, there was a price to pay for gaining power. Losing 5% of one's maximum health every second was also terrifying. According to Lu Chen's peak health, he had 6.5 million health points. Before the battle even started, he was losing 320,000 health points every second. Just thinking about it was terrifying. There's another advantage of converting it to elemental damage. I can enjoy the damage bonus of Earth. Also, I'm not afraid of losing health points. I have life steal. After losing health, I can activate the frenzy effect of humanity. Well, a heaven-level technique is indeed a heaven-level technique. This damage is too explosive. The training time for the second transformation was 1,000 hours. Lu Chen decided to forget about it. He would level up first. At this moment, Lu Yi called. On the phone, Lu Yi seemed to have something to say but stopped. She was completely different from her usual carefree self. Brother? Yes, what is it? Are you hungry? No. Brother, where are you now? In the game. I'm training deep in the mountains. Sigh, I haven't seen anyone for a few days. I'm planning to go out. Lu Yi's heart ached. There were no deep mountains or forests in the second heaven. After more than 2 months of adaptation, the players had already adapted to the difficulty of the second heaven. From the level 80 main cities to the novice villages of the major worlds, even the arena that no one went to before, the Azura arena was full of people. After nearly 3 months of struggle in the second heaven, the players were resurrected. If there wasn't anyone here, then it could only be the first heaven. Most of the players from Earth had already reached level 2, and the newcomers to the game were also those who didn't know how to play normally. An expert like Brother was indeed very lonely. Brother, I'll go find you. Looking for me? You're not leveling anymore? What's wrong? Did someone bully you? Lu Yi felt even sadder. Even though her brother had been beaten back to the first heaven, she still wouldn't allow anyone to bully her. I just miss you. Silly girl, I'm not next door. Lu Chen was confused. What was wrong with Lu Yi today? Lu Chen pondered for a moment. Something was wrong with his sister today. He exited the game and went out to look for Lu. Lu Yi's gaming cabin was pink. At this moment, she was lying inside. Through the glass cabin door, Lu Chen saw that this girl was actually crying. After knocking on the cabin door, Lu Yi realized that her brother had come in person. She took off the device. As soon as they came out of the gaming cabin, Lu Yi did not say anything. She hugged her brother, feeling wronged. Brother, silly girl, what's wrong? What's wrong? Tell me. Brother, it's nothing. I'm just sad. After all, Lu Yi had grown up with Lu Chen. Both of them had gone through the toughest days. She could also see Lu Chen's unyielding character in her. No matter what Lu Chen asked, this girl would not say anything. Brother, you can go back. I'm really fine. Are you sure you didn't fall out of love? Lu Yi was amused by Lu Chen's sudden question. She laughed through her tears. You're the one who fell out of love. I haven't fallen in love yet. How can I fall out of love? Go, go, go. Go level up. I know you'll definitely come back. Lu Yi pushed her brother out of the door. Lu Chen also knew that he would not be able to get anything out of her. Fatty, if there's anything you want to tell me, do you understand? It's really nothing. You can go. Lu Chen returned to his room helplessly. However, judging from his sister's appearance, it was obvious that something was wrong. After thinking about it, he was still worried and called Li Muhua. Chen, you actually took the initiative to call me. Do you know something? Know what? Oh, it's nothing. Why are you looking for me? Has my sister gone out recently? Li Muhua and the others were responsible for ensuring the safety of Lu Chen and his sister. They did not know what happened in the house, but they definitely knew when they left the neighborhood. Or did anyone come to our house? Lu, she's a leveling maniac. She only went out to buy breakfast with you a few times. She trained in the yard every day and never left the neighborhood. Strangers? Just that little black leather you brought back last time. No one else came. Lu Chen frowned. What little black leather? That's my childhood friend Luo Yu. Okay, I got it. Hey, Chen. On the other side of the phone, Li Muhua sighed softly. It's fine. After hanging up the phone, Lu Chen felt that something was wrong. It felt like they were hiding something from him. What the hell? That Li Muhua guy can't be pursuing my sister, right? It seemed like this was the only possibility for these two guys to have the same attitude. Thinking about it, Li Muhua was actually not bad. He was a soldier and a small official at such a young age. As for his looks, he was more handsome than Luo Yu. Although he was sometimes a little cheap, he definitely had the demeanor of a soldier when he was serious. Most importantly, this guy could fight. Last time, he took down a few security guards by himself. Lu Chen was stunned at that time. Strange, there's no need to hide dating from me. Forget it, I'll think about it tomorrow. After cultivating the transformation of gods and demons, Lu Chen could finally sleep on his own bed. The night passed. The next morning, Lu Chen went grocery shopping and trained as usual. However, Lu Yi went online early and did not accompany him. You're online so early today? Lu Chen did not care about her. He left breakfast in Lu Yi's room and returned to his room. After thinking about it, Lu Chen still felt that Lu Yi was not normal. Did something happen in the game? Lu Chen thought of this possibility. Let's go to the official website and have a look. As soon as he went to the official website, Lu Chen saw a bunch of strange posts. Nameless has fallen, but if you want to kill Nameless, please step over my dead body. Nameless has fought for us too many times. This time, it's our turn to fight for him. The Earth Alliance told us not to go online tomorrow, but they underestimated us. We are not cowards. If you want to kill Nameless, you can't even do it. At 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, please go online as soon as possible. Protect the Earth for 5 billion years and protect the nameless Hua Xia god of war. Chapter 420. Fallen? Lu Chen scrolled forward. Fortunately, there were too many posts about him, so it was not difficult to find them. After taking a general look at several posts, Lu Chen finally understood. During the battle in the Fairy Trail Forest, the level 2 players told the Earth players that Nameless would be directly knocked back to level 1 under such an attack. In addition, Lu Chen did not appear for several months, so people were almost certain that he was dead. No wonder Lu Yi and the others spoke strangely at that time. They were afraid of hurting my self-esteem. Now there was a super strong person outside the Earth village calling for a fight. He named Nameless to accept the challenge, or else he would slaughter the 3 billion players in the Earth village. In the hearts of the Earth players, Nameless had fallen. Perhaps he was now leveling up somewhere in the level 1 heaven. Naturally, it was impossible for him to accept the challenge, so this battle was inevitable. Because the opponent was too strong, the Earth Alliance advised players not to go online. However, the Earth players did not intend to be cowards. A large number of similar posts appeared on the forum. Protect my Earth for 5 billion years, protect my Hua Xia god of war, Nameless. At this point, the reason for Lu Yi and Li Muhua's abnormal behavior had been found. They wanted to fight for Lu Chen, but they could not tell Lu Chen. They had almost no chance of winning this battle, so they would miss the god of war who protected them. Under such contradictory feelings, they hesitated to speak. Lu Chen hurriedly looked at the time. It was already 7:30 in the morning, only half an hour before the appointed time. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. If you want to find me, then find me. Go slaughter the Earth players. Can you be any more shameless? Time was tight, and Lu Chen did not have time to say hello to Louis. He went online directly. A moment later, Lu Chen appeared in the Spirit Condensation Mountain Range. He merged the attributes of the Wishful Staff into the Reverse Water Scale Sword, and the Devil's Robe into the Black Scale Armor. After the attribute transfer, the effect of the Devil's Suit was not affected, but there were a few more Black Scale Armor special effects, and the entire appearance had changed. He wore the Dragon Scale Armor and the Reverse Water Scale Sword. He changed into his favorite red outfit, the Blood God Sword Maniac, and turned into a red light, shooting out of the Spirit Condensation Mountain Range. After leaving the Soul Condensation Mountain Range, Lu Chen shouted, 9 wings. A 9-winged azure dragon let out a roar and spread its wings. It flapped its wings and soared into the sky. Lu Chen landed steadily on the dragon's head. Global Village. Outside the global village, the Earth players now had a glimmer of hope. At this moment, there were 4 people playing chess with the Hunter Emperor and the Super Expert. The Hunter Emperor crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at the 4 people in front of him. He coldly snorted, "People from the Wood Mansion? This matter has nothing to do with you, right? I advise you not to get involved in this mess. Do you know my master's identity? Even if you're from the Wood Clan, according to what I know, the elders of the Wood Clan won't interfere when you're training, right?" Xiao Tian's gaze was not locked onto the Hunter Emperor. The Hunter Emperor was indeed very strong, but compared to the person standing behind him, he was on a completely different level. "Senior Green Wolf, it doesn't seem right for you to cross the Heaven Domain and attack him." Green Wolf was the Hunter Emperor's master, the super expert who came from the upper heaven. "Rules?" Green Wolf laughed in disdain. "Aren't rules meant to be broken? But you have a grudge with the Nameless. You shouldn't vent your anger on the people of Earth." One heir angrily said. Green Wolf coldly sneered, "When I, Green Wolf, do things, there's no such thing as should or shouldn't. It's only about whether I'm happy or not. Speaking of which, are the 4 of you tired of living? How dare you block my path?" Strange. According to what I know, the newcomers of the Wood Clan are always in groups of 5. Why are there only 4 of you? Where's the last one? Green Wolf rubbed his chin and pondered for a moment. "Oh, right. I remember now. 1 person in each group has the Wood Clan's treasure. Let me guess, that treasure should be with the remaining person." Xiao Tian took a deep breath. This guy hit the nail on the head. That's right, Jiu Air wasn't here. When they received news that a strong enemy had invaded the global village, they were prepared to come and help. However, when they arrived, they realized that the people who came were not ordinary. If it was just the Hunter Emperor, they might be able to work together to deal with him. However, Green Wolf was the Hunter Emperor's master, someone from the 3rd heaven. However, since they were here, no matter what the result was, they would definitely help. However, in order to protect the Wood Clan's treasure, Xiao Tian ordered Jiu Air to hide in the dark. If the Wood Clan's treasure was lost, then their training would be a complete failure. It would be even harder for Jiu Air to stand out in the future. They could not afford to lose this treasure. In the end, everything was within Green Wolf's expectations. "I believe that he should be nearby. Don't worry, I can easily find him in the 2nd heaven." Green Wolf smiled. "How interesting. The other people from the Wood Clan are all as low-key as possible. You guys are good, sending yourself to me. If I don't accept this gift, then I would be letting you guys down." Even someone as calm as Xiao Tian could not help but feel flustered. Someone from the 3rd heaven in the 2nd heaven was a transcendent existence. Green Wolf did not know about them before, but now that he knew, it would not be difficult for him to find Jiu Air. "Big brother?" Ba Men looked at Xiao Tian. "We have no way out. Since we chose to help them, then we must be prepared to accept any consequences." Xiao Tian said firmly. "Big brother is right. So what if we fail the training? So what if we are laughed at by our family? I don't want to be a person who goes back on his words." Ba Men nodded. "Okay, I heard from my family that someone from the direct line can challenge those of a higher rank. Let's try it today." Hunter Emperor looked at the 4 and smiled. "Actually, with your current strength, my master doesn't even have to do anything. I can take care of you." Hunter Emperor was also a student of the Heart Tempering Academy and ranked in the top 10 of the arena. His strength was not to be underestimated. "Master, let your disciple handle these 4. Green Wolf smiled. I will go and kill that bunch of trash." With that said, Green Wolf flashed and appeared in front of the Endless Earth Army. "Stop him!" Xiao Tian shouted in a low voice. "Stop my master?" Hunter Emperor snorted. "Are you for deaf? Your opponent is me. Beast Blackluck. Beast Nine-Tailed Fox. Beast Sky-Swallowing Roar." All of a sudden, 3 battle pets appeared in front of the Hunter Emperor. All 3 of them were rare beasts with a high growth rate. They were all young beasts. Even Sengoku Yenran only had one young dragon emperor, which was enough for her to rank in the top 20 of the Heart-Tempering Academy. Hunter Emperor's 3 super beasts were not weak. No wonder he could rank in the top 10 of the Heart-Tempering Academy. He is a beast tamer. Xiao Tian pulled a long face. Beast tamers and puppeteers would not be at a disadvantage in a one-on-one fight. Who told you that I am a beast tamer? Hunter Emperor smiled. Have you never heard of dual classes? Buddha Lotus Golden Body. The 4 from the Wood Mansion stared with their eyes wide open. This guy was a combination of a beast tamer and a close combat monk. In terms of level, equipment, skills, and battle pets, Hunter Emperor was powerful. The 4 from the Wood Mansion were not at a high level. They had to try their best when facing Hunter Emperor from the Heart-Tempering Academy. Chapter 421. Hunter Emperor led 3 beasts and successfully restrained the 4 from the Wood Mansion. At this time, Green Wolf slowly walked to the front of the Earth players. Facing the innumerable number of Earth players, he raised his chin slightly with an arrogant expression. Where's Nameless? Nameless, come out if you have the guts. Are you scared? Don't you dare to come? So, he's going to hide behind you trash and struggle to survive? Sigh, a trash place produces trash. I thought he was strong, but he's just a coward. What's wrong? Fine, there's no need for people like you to continue wasting resources. I'll slaughter your Earth village and there will be no more Earth village, no more Nameless. At this time, a 13 or 14-year-old boy walked out from the crowd. His ID was hidden. The boy shouted, "You're looking for Nameless?" That's me. Green Wolf looked at the boy in surprise. He's Nameless? Obviously not. Haha, you're Nameless? You're not even fully grown yet. Do you think I'm as stupid as you, not even knowing who Nameless is? Little bastard, you want to be a hero? I'll make you regret it later. Green Wolf raised his hand slightly and was about to attack. However, at this time, another person stood in front of the boy. They also did not show their ID. Old dog, I'm Nameless. What kind of hero are you to bully a kid? I don't think you're fit to be a human. If you want to kill me, I'm Nameless. Aren't you looking for Nameless? I'm him. I am. A large group of people suddenly stood out, all of them hiding their IDs. Green Wolf frowned slightly. He did not expect things to turn out like this. After all, he had never seen Nameless in person. When he turned around to look at Hunter Emperor, he realized that Hunter Emperor was fighting with the 4 from the Wood Mansion. Although he had the upper hand, it was not easy. Qing Lang waved his hand and sent out a sword chi. Xiao Tian was quick to react and hastily retreated. Xiao Lai, who is Nameless? Master, none of them are. That guy is wearing a red dress. These are all trash. Just kill them. Yeah, we're here to kill Nameless anyway. It doesn't matter how many we kill. Green Wolf ignored Hunter Emperor and turned to look at the Earth players. So, all of you are courting death? At this moment, Li Muhua of the Iron and Blood Country also stood out. Hey, you pervert, you're really interesting. You said that you wouldn't make a move as long as Nameless came out. Now that Nameless has come out, you still want to make a move. It only shows that you're an untrustworthy man. No matter how strong you are, you can't change the fact that you're just a piece of trash. Green Wolf's gaze turned vicious. What a joke. You guys aren't Nameless at all. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood also walked over. Nameless? Nameless means nameless. We don't have a name, so we're nameless. Why aren't we nameless? That's right. You're strong, and we don't care if you're willing to kill the innocent. However, you can't invert right and wrong. We're nameless. That's right. It doesn't matter if you kill us. In the future, everyone will know that you're a despicable person who spouts nonsense. Whether it was killing the innocent or helping others, many vicious people were people who kept their word. This was very important for their future development in the Jyotian. Who would be willing to make a deal with someone who didn't keep his word? Who would be willing to cooperate with him? This was especially true after Xiao Tian called out the name Green Wolf. What a joke. You think you can stop me with this little trick? You guys are the ones who invert right and wrong. Even if this matter spreads out, no one will say anything. Green Wolf was worthy of being called a super expert. He was calm in the face of chaos. You want to use this method to threaten me? I'm sorry, but I'll kill as many nameless as you guys have. After killing all of you, I'll kill the old, the weak, the women, and the children as well. I won't let anyone go. In the crowd, a beautiful woman couldn't take it anymore. Green Wolf, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're at level 2. Hearing this voice, Xiao Tian and the others' hearts sank. It was Jiao Er. That silly girl couldn't hold back in the end. As long as she used the Wood Residence's technique, Green Wolf might recognize her. Xiao Tian had clearly warned Jiao Er to keep her cool and not reveal herself. In the end, Jiao Er couldn't care less and stood out resolutely. I'm sorry, but I can do whatever I want. So many of you want to die? I'll fulfill your wish. After speaking, Green Wolf revealed a sinister smile. Today, none of you can escape. The 3 swords on his back slowly flew out. Green Wolf formed a sword seal and smiled. Next, I'll let you see how big the gap is between you and me. Killing 3 billion people? Haha, it'll definitely feel good. The first sword had already pierced through the air and shot towards the crowd. With this sword, who knew how many Earth players would die, Li Muhua glared and rushed towards the flying sword. Donghuang Bell, get out of the way. You want to block my sword? Dream on. Taking the main damage will make you wish you were dead. I can't wait to see you wailing in pain. Li Muhua's body glowed with a golden Buddhist seal, and a large cauldron appeared. At this moment, he couldn't care less about the warning that the pain system had been forcefully activated. Even in the game, a soldier had to stand in front of the civilians. This was his duty. Green Wolf felt that it was too interesting that a second-level Heaven Trash wanted to block his sword. No, he couldn't kill him so easily. Sanqing Sword Art. 1 becomes 10,000. That rapidly flying sword energy suddenly split into countless thin needles and shot towards Li Muhua. 1 sword energy split into tens of thousands, and the damage was also split. This way, it wouldn't be so easy to kill that guy. Li Muhua's nose flared, but he remained unmoved. Come on, old dog. If I snort, I'm not a man. Countless thin needles swept past, and the so-called Donghuang Bell was instantly riddled with holes. In an instant, Li Muhua's body was pierced with countless holes, and his whole body was covered in blood. His HP bar didn't return to 0, but was only left with a few hundred HP. With Green Wolf's strength, killing Li Muhua would be a piece of cake. However, he didn't manage to kill Li Muhua. If he wanted to kill, it wouldn't be fun to kill so easily. The most terrifying thing was that although it was only an instant of damage, Li Muhua suffered tens of thousands of attacks. This kind of pain covered almost every part of his body, every cell. It was unimaginable. Even so, Li Muhua still didn't make a sound. He was bleeding from all 7 orifices, and his whole body was trembling as he stood there, covered in blood. Boss. Li Muhua's underlings wanted to rush over. Don't come over. I haven't lost yet. Li Muhua shouted angrily. Green Wolf shook his head regretfully. I'm sorry that I didn't manage to kill you the first time. I didn't expect you to be such a tough nut to crack. You didn't even cry out? All right, let's do it again. Green Wolf moved his sword finger, and the tens of thousands of silver needles flew back towards Li Muhua again. This time, Li Muhua didn't activate the Donghuang Bell. He turned around to look at the people behind him, and shook his head with a smile. I realized something. Actually, being nameless isn't that easy, but at least I've been nameless once. Nameless brother, I don't have any other requests, I just hope that you, facing the countless rain of swords, Li Muhua roared into the sky. Nameless, listen up. If you can't make a comeback and kill this old dog, I won't acknowledge you as my brother anymore. Nameless, do you hear me? A red shadow flashed and appeared in front of Li Muhua in the face of the rain of swords. Make a comeback, my ass, a bunch of lunatics. Chapter 422. When he saw the familiar face in front of him, Li Muhua was stunned. Immediately after, countless silver needles pierced into that person's body. -940, -920, -930. A large number of damage values appeared. At the same time, a debuff appeared. Increased pain, additional 100% pain. Although the damage was only around 500,000, even someone as strong as Lu Chen could not help but bleed from the corner of his mouth as he frowned slightly. This guy actually used such a sinister method? Li Muhua's upper limit was much lower than his, which meant that he had almost suffered the pain of death twice. Chen. Nameless. Li Muhua looked at Lu Chen in shock. Lu Chen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said with a half smile and half anger, "Why did you come out? If a beauty came out instead, she might have secretly fallen in love with me." Li Muhua was speechless. This guy actually despised him. I took some time to look at your post this morning. You actually thought that I lost in Immortal Trail Forest? Who told you that? How could you be so easily fooled? Didn't the telecom scam teach you to be smarter? Those experts said that you would definitely die. We saw such a big commotion. Even Immortal Trail Peak was destroyed. There was no way you could have survived. If I didn't survive, how did I provoke those two guys? Who knows? Maybe you provoked them when you just arrived at level 2. Anyway, you're not easy to deal with. Lu Chen realized that although Li Muhua was bleeding all over, his mind was unusually clear. He did not know how he did it. The players on Earth also saw this person clearly. It was Hua Xia's god of war, Nameless. It's bro Nameless. How? Why is his HP 6,500,000? Didn't he drop back to level 1? Could it be that he didn't die in the battle in Immortal Trail Forest? That's great, bro Nameless is back. Hua Xia's god of war is back. Not good. Even if it's brother Nameless, I'm afraid he's no match for that guy. That guy is simply too strong. Li Mua's teammates helped him up and glanced at Lu Chen. Nameless bro, I know. That fool was so loud just now. I heard it. Lu Chen smiled. Seeing that Li Muhua was safely sent back, Lu Chen raised his head and looked at the boy in the crowd. Lu Chen smiled at him. Little guy, this is for you. It's more than enough to exchange for some equipment. After saying that, Lu Chen tossed a piece of colorful gold gemstone to the child. Even someone like the Hunter Emperor was running around for the rainbow gold gem. The value of a single rainbow gold gem was hard to estimate. With this gem, it would not be a problem for the child to exchange for some good equipment. Jiu looked at that figure in shock. That fellow actually didn't die. After being attacked by the powerful skills of the upper heaven, not only did he not die, he seemed to have become stronger. What kind of monster was this guy? Lu Chen coincidentally saw Jiu and smiled at her. Jiu, thank you. That's right, tell your friend to come back. Leave the rest to me. But Cyan Wolf is already invincible. That guy is at the 3rd level of the upper heaven. There's also the Hunter Emperor, who is already very strong. There are also 3 wild beasts. 3rd level? Are they terrifying? I just happen to want to experience it. It's okay. In my eyes, they're already dead. Originator, Furball, and you too, you're already young. Come out and get some exercise. With that said, 4 battle pets appeared next to Lu Chen. Furball, Originator, Chaos, and Tao. 3 of the 4 battle pets were huge and intimidating. They roared as soon as they appeared. Woo! Bwr! Squeak squeak! The last roar was from Furball. Lu Chen was speechless. That guy was not intimidating at all when he didn't transform. Little Furball, don't shout. Leave it to them to take care of the situation. The 4 battle pets rushed forward and joined the battle between the 4 members of the Wood family and the Hunter Emperor, quickly replacing Xiao Tian and the others. Xiao Tian and the others returned and walked to Lu Chen, all of them in disbelief. Nameless. I'm not dead? Lu Chen shook his head. He didn't know where the rumor came from. He didn't know that the most important source of the rumor was the 5 guys from the Wood family. Thank you for your help. Feel free to ask me if you need anything in the future, said Lu Chen casually. All right, leave the rest to me. Be careful of Cyan Wolf. He's at the 3rd level of the upper heaven. After replacing his own people, Lu Chen left the Hunter Emperor to Furball and the others. He wasn't worried about them at all. At this time, Lu Chen put away his smile on his companion, and his face instantly became as cold as frost. He raised his head slightly and looked at the man opposite him. It was Cyan Wolf, an expert at the 3rd level of the upper heaven. Cyan Wolf had been looking at Furball. That battle pet was indeed strong. The Hunter Emperor was forced to dodge and not attack. That was exactly the treasure he wanted. Cyan Wolf turned around and looked down at Lu Chen. Your battle pet is strong. I like it. Lu Chen curled his lips. You want it? Then come and take it. Ha! You think someone like you is worth my time? I'm here for those rare battle pets. I didn't know that you had so many battle pets. Now that you're here, they're all mine. That being said, you are just as arrogant as the rumors say. If those people from the Wood Clan could keep the Hunter Emperor busy while you fought me with your battle pet, you might be able to last a few seconds. Yet, you want to fight me one-on-one? Ha! Don't you think it's funny that a 2nd level of the upper heaven wants to fight a 3rd level of the upper heaven? Suddenly, Cyan Wolf stopped laughing and said with a gloomy face, You and I are separated by 1 level of the upper heaven. Lu Chen snorted. You're wrong. You and I are not separated by 1 level of the upper heaven. Cyan Wolf said coldly, What? Are you scared? Now you know the difference between us? Then why don't you hurry up and give me your battle pets? Maybe I'll let you live. Lu Chen smiled. What I mean is, in my eyes, you're less than an ant. Cyan Wolf narrowed his eyes. Lu Chen's words had infuriated him. Very well. I'll make you suffer unimaginable pain and die in despair. I'll beat you back to the 1st level of the upper heaven. With that, Cyan Wolf's sword rain formation merged back into one of the 3 purity swords. Lu Chen also drew his own weapon. He moved his finger and a pure black longsword was drawn out of its sheath, standing in front of Lu Chen. At first, the sword was very thin and there was nothing special about it. However, after it was summoned, 2 rows of diamond-shaped spikes suddenly appeared on the sword's body and opened up. After the scales opened up, the sword was twice as wide as before. The entire sword looked like a black dragon covered in scales. The sword was glowing like a living creature. Damn, what kind of weapon is that? It's so cool. I've never seen Brother Nameless use it before. It's a dazzling weapon. This is... Jiao opened her eyes wide and looked at her companion in disbelief. Xiao Tian was similarly shocked as he muttered, Reverse water scale sword. Dropped by the tiger dragon. This is impossible. He defeated the tiger dragon of the sanctum. Chapter 423. Lu Chen looked at the people from the Wood Manor in surprise. They actually recognized the reverse water scale rune sword. After all, he had never shown this sword to anyone before. Even Green Wolf might not be able to recognize this sword. This Wood Manor was not simple. Fortunately, these people from the Wood Manor could be counted as his friends. Lu Chen gathered his thoughts and looked at Green Wolf again. How strong would an expert from the 3rd heavenly realm be? There were no rules when it came to fighting in the wild. The hostility between the 2 sides was already at its peak. There was no turning back. The battle was about to begin. From Green Wolf's previous moves, he should be a sword spirit of the sword spirit class. Thus, close combat was the best choice. 7 stars chasing the moon. Lu Chen made the first move. Green Wolf's eyes glowed with a strange red light. Using such a low-level movement technique? 3 clear swords, chasing shadow. Among the 3 flying swords, the green longsword shot out. This sword was extremely fast. It was similar to the special effect of Paramitha, leaping forward. It was difficult to catch its trajectory. Chasing shadow instantly caught up to Lu Chen, who was in the state of 7 stars chasing the moon, and stabbed at Lu Chen. Damn, it can even attack with a displacement technique? This is too terrifying. It's too fast. I can't see it clearly. Xiao Tian looked at the passerby who spoke. He did not expect this person's unintentional lament to point out the crux of the problem. He said to his companions, the terrifying thing about chasing shadow is that its speed surpasses the reaction time of people. Ba Men nodded. 7 stars chasing the moon is a high-speed movement technique. Even the user would find it difficult to make multiple changes in the middle because it's too fast. And chasing Shadow's attack in such a fast environment completely messes up the rhythm of the technique. It's almost impossible to dodge. Wan Er looked at the battlefield seriously. Is this the power of a third heaven? Displacement is not absolutely safe? Lu Qin had already discovered that chasing Shadow was trying to attack him. Although it was commonly believed that sword spirits were afraid of close combat, if they could attack the enemy while they were moving, then the so-called weakness of sword spirits was no longer a weakness. Not bad. Lu Chen's mind spun rapidly. Triple door. He directly teleported behind Green Wolf through one of the doors. Fierce Tiger descends the mountain. Lu Chen seized the opportunity and stabbed down with his sword. As long as it hit, it would be a terrifying 10 consecutive hits, which was equivalent to 30 consecutive hits. The reverse water scale rune sword transformed into a black shadow and mercilessly fell. But this time, the attack that was sure to hit had missed. The Green Wolf seemed to have seen through Lu Chen's movements. It instantly shifted and dodged Lu Chen's attack. There was only a fraction of a second to react, but Green Wolf was able to easily dodge it. What was even stranger was that Lu Chen suddenly felt as if his feet had sunk into a swamp, and his movement speed dropped to an unimaginable level. Debuff. Movement skills are silenced for 2 seconds. A trap. Lu Chen was also shocked. This Green Wolf had purposely given him a chance to get close. Although the silence trap only had a duration of 2 seconds, and it only silenced movement type skills, it was enough for Shadow Pursuit to reach Lu Chen within this short 1 second. Wishful Doppelganger. In the nick of time, Lu Chen used his weakest doppelganger skill and used the 0.2 seconds of invincibility to dodge the attack. Shadow Pursuit missed and quickly turned around to stab at him again. The strongest bow. Flash shot. In the midst of the battle, Lu Chen retrieved the Abyssal Dragon Crystal Bow. In the blink of an eye, 3 black crystal arrows shot through the air and hit Shadow Pursuit. Shadow Pursuit was clearly of a higher level than the Abyssal Dragon Crystal Bow, so the strongest bow couldn't shatter Shadow Pursuit nor could it interrupt the enemy's skill. However, the powerful force still changed the direction of Shadow Pursuit's attack. The doppelganger and the strongest bow held off Lu Chen for 2 seconds. As soon as the debuff disappeared, Lu Chen quickly escaped from the trap. Just then, Shadow Pursuit returned behind Green Wolf and hovered in the air with the other 2 swords. In just a few short seconds, the 2 powerhouses had already exchanged several rounds of blows. Neither of them had taken any damage, but the danger involved was enough to make one shudder. Green Wolf broke through Lu Chen's 7 stars chasing the moon and triple gate, while Lu Chen broke through Green Wolf's trap and Shadow Pursuit. Although neither of them used their full strength in the beginning, there was still a difference between them. Green Wolf continued to stroll leisurely with his hands behind his back. He stood there leisurely and calmly watched Lu Chen. On the other hand, Lu Chen had already gone through an intense exercise. Not only did his attacks fail, but he also almost got hit. Clearly, Nameless was at a disadvantage. Green Wolf wasn't in a hurry to attack. He looked at Lu Chen with interest and pursed his lips. Do you really think you can touch me? Why did you stop? Come on, get closer. Lu Chen scoffed coldly. Do you want to die that badly? Don't worry, you'll get what you want very soon. This round of probing and exchanging blows had already dazzled everyone who was watching. He's so fast that I can't even see him clearly. This kind of strength is just too terrifying. It is indeed terrifying. The 2 of them have attacked and defended several times. This kind of battle is simply pushing their physical body and intelligence to the limit. Heavens, I always thought that after 2 months of training, I was getting closer to Nameless Bro. Now it seems, Nameless Bro is already unbelievably strong. Stop arguing. Currently, Nameless Bro seems to be at a disadvantage. Nameless Bro, you must do your best. That guy seems like he's just playing around. He's only used 2 of his 3 swords so far. One is extremely fast, and the other can transform into a rain of swords. Moreover, he only showed his face and didn't really use any strength. What kind of effect does his last sword have? Jiao nervously grabbed Wanner's hand. She suddenly thought of something and turned to look at Xiao Tian. Big brother, What level is the Sanqing sword technique? Xiao Tian slightly narrowed his eyes. He was considered a top student in his family's theoretical studies, so he knew the origins of many techniques and equipment by heart. If I remember correctly, the Sanqing sword technique should be a heaven-level technique. Among the low-level techniques, the Sanqing sword technique is definitely the top. Xiao Tian looked at Lu Chen worriedly. I remember there's a saying that describes the Sanqing sword technique. When the Sanqing sword technique appears, the three realms will not be at peace. Although this description is not from the technique and cannot be fully believed, the fact that this saying has been passed down shows the strength of the Sanqing sword technique. Then Nameless Bro has no hope? Xiao Tian didn't give a direct answer. No matter how strong the Sanqing sword technique is in the third heaven, you have to know that this is the second heaven. Heaven-level techniques shouldn't appear here. Green Wolf was able to survive in the third heaven, which means that his own strength is also tyrannical. Nameless Bro wants to win unless what? Unless he uses his heaven-level technique. The heaven-level technique sealed by the Heart Refinement Courtyard. In the arena, the two experts had finished probing each other. It seemed that both sides were going to fight for real. Green Wolf smiled lazily. I like arrogant people like you. It's more interesting to kill people like this. Nameless Bro, didn't you defeat the Tiger Dragon? Tiske, I didn't expect that such a genius would be crippled by my own hands. Just thinking about it makes me excited. Genius? A genius who falls back to first heaven is no longer a genius. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. This guy already knew that he had a heaven-level technique, but he was still so fearless. His strength was probably not weak. After speaking, Green Wolf moved his sword finger and the two swords behind him flew in front of him. Hurry up and take out your heaven-level technique. Otherwise, you will die miserably. Green Wolf's eyes were wide open with a complicated gaze. Fanaticism, jealousy, bloodthirst, excitement. I will let you understand that my Sanqing sword technique is far more powerful than the three heaven-level techniques sealed by the Heart Refinement Courtyard. Lu Chen snorted coldly. Green Wolf still hadn't used his third sword. He was still preserving his strength. He was still preserving his strength against his heaven-level technique? This guy was quite confident. Unfortunately, no one knew what Lu Chen's heaven-level technique was. You want to see my heaven-level technique? Sorry, I might not be able to fulfill your last wish. Lu Chen smiled. Then he retracted his smile and his gaze turned cold. Last wish? Arrogant. Green Wolf moved his sword finger and both swords simultaneously. Sanqing sword technique, chasing shadow sand. Chapter 424. Two Sanqing swords, one green and one white, merged into one, and then one into 10,000. Countless thin swords, which were almost invisible, shot toward Lu Chen at the same time with the speed of shadow pursuit. Seeing this, Lu Chen wanted to take a deep breath. What the fuck? This was an attack with no blind spots. It was almost equivalent to a full-range attack. The Earth players were completely dumbfounded. This is too shameless. How can he dodge this? There's no way out. There's a trap in close range, and he'll be attacked if he keeps his distance. How can Brother Nameless win? Is the triple door useful? Use the triple door to escape. It's useless. Shadow pursuit has a tracking effect. It'll catch up very quickly. It's over. Brother Nameless can't hold on any longer. The Wood Mansion players naturally had different perspectives from the Earth players. Seeing the rain of swords, they thought about how they would deal with it if they encountered this move. Could they think of a way to deal with it in just 1 or 2 seconds? One shadow pursuit is already very difficult to deal with. With so many of them, I can't deal with it. This guy isn't even using a heaven-level technique. He's too arrogant. At this moment, on the battlefield, Lu Chen moved. Rapid attack. Strongest bow. With the strongest bow and the previous flash shot activated at the same time, Lu Chen's attack speed increased dramatically. He shot 4 to 5 arrows in a second. The arrows lined up in a row and rushed toward the sword formation. Last time, the strongest bow didn't destroy shadow pursuit. It only slightly changed the direction of shadow pursuit. This time, however, the black crystal arrow directly plunged into the sword formation and tore open a gap. Rapid movement. Rapid movement. Dark Night Flash. Using the remaining low-level movement skills, Lu Chen chased after his black crystal arrow and arrived in front of Green Wolf in an instant. How can this be? The strongest bow broke the shadow-chasing sand? Xiao Tian suddenly widened his eyes. I understand now. The strongest bow can't break shadow pursuit, but that doesn't mean it can't break shadow pursuit. After a lot of differentiation, the localized attack power of this shadow-chasing sandstorm isn't very high. This is equivalent to a heaven-grade cultivation technique being weakened to a lower-grade cultivation technique. This way, the strongest bow can be used. This guy's reasoning ability and reflexes are so strong. If Lu Chen had used some new move, perhaps Xiao Tian would not have been so surprised. However, he had used the same move that he had used before. Previously, Xiao Tian could not think of a way to counter it, but Nameless could. This was the difference in combat ability. Green Wolf was shocked as well. He had expected Nameless to use the triple door to escape, but he did not expect her to come straight at him. The basic quality of an expert was to predict the enemy's movements, while a top-notch expert was to figure out the opponent's mentality. Nameless had managed to achieve the unexpected. Raging Flame Slash. Lu Chen immediately launched an attack. A zigzag sword chi shot out towards Green Wolf. Green Wolf narrowed his eyes slightly. He, who had been through hundreds of battles, had actually been tricked by a brat at the second celestial layer. He had even broken through his shadow-chasing wild sand. It was simply a disgrace. Close combat? Sorry, close combat means you're courting death. Sanqing Sword Technique, Myriad Sword Shield. Countless thin swords rapidly changed directions and spun around Green Wolf like a sword formation, forming an impenetrable barrier. With a loud bang, the raging flame sword's attack directly hit the Myriad Sword Shield. The Myriad Sword Shield violently distorted, but it still absorbed the attack's energy. Tens of thousands of thin needle-shaped swords suddenly shot out at an even faster speed than before. Lu Chen was secretly shocked. Not only did the Myriad Sword Shield block the attack, it also absorbed the damage from his skill and used it to strengthen its own attack. Damn, the Sanqing Sword Technique is really troublesome. Its attack was strong, and its defense was also so strong. It really had both offense and defense. Only when this Myriad Sword formation is in attack mode will I have a chance to attack him. Lu Chen's mind raced as he tried to think of a countermeasure. The Myriad Sword Shield's defense turned into offense, causing Lu Chen and Green Wolf to switch positions. Lu Chen was instantly faced with a fatal situation. Triple door. Earth-splitting chasm. Lu Chen turned towards the second door and used this low-level skill that he was best at. Using the triple door to attack? Do you think I'm stupid? Green Wolf snorted. Trash is trash. You can't even touch me. In front of me, you can't defy the heavens. The triple door is your only life-saving skill. 3 chances, let's see how many times you can use it. You really think you can break my Sanqing Sword Technique? Very well, I'll let you see the true power of my Sanqing Sword Technique, Clear Jade Sword. Xiao Tian exclaimed in a low voice. Not good. The Sanqing Sword Technique's 3 swords represent the 3 great realms of Taoism, Clear Jade, and Clear Jade. The previous ones were all small skirmishes. This is the real killer move. At this moment, Lu Chen's earth-splitting chasm had already teleported behind Green Wolf from the second triple door. However, Green Wolf had already seen through Lu Chen's plan. He quickly dodged and prepared to make a hand seal, preparing to launch his killer move. Sanqing Sword Technique, Clear Jade Realm. Green Wolf had already launched his attack, but at this moment, the earth-splitting chasm mysteriously appeared from the other side. Lu Chen had already replaced the wishful staff with the reverse water scale sword. So, this time, it was not the staff that had enlarged, but the black long sword. With a loud bang, a damage value floated above Green Wolf's head. Minus 70,000, sword spirit cancels out 70,000, debuff, stun for 1 second, resist for 2 seconds. The damage was pitifully low. Firstly, Lu Chen did not use any amplification skills. Secondly, Green Wolf Sword Spirit was also very strong, reducing half of the damage. Green Wolf had 5,800,000 health points, and his health points had only dropped a little. However, this move still shocked everyone. It hit? How did it hit? That guy clearly dodged the earth-splitting chasm. Big brother, do you understand? Chi-Chi asked anxiously. He wanted to know the answer too much. As a newcomer to the Wood Mansion, although he was not very strong, he had seen the experts of his family fight before. Sometimes, he might not be able to react the same way as those geniuses, but at least he could understand the principles behind it after seeing it. But this time, he could not understand it at all. Why was Green Wolf still hit when he knew that Nameless was going to use the triple door to teleport to the earth-splitting chasm? How did the earth-splitting chasm change its position twice? This time, Xiao Tian was also stunned. He also could not figure out the reason. However, Yu, who had been staring at the battlefield, said, "I understand now. Look at his triple door. All 3 doors are closed." Everyone looked at Nameless. Indeed, all 3 doors were closed. However, he had only used the triple door twice. Jiu turned to look at her companions. Just now, when he used the triple door for the second time, he teleported the 3rd door together. The moment the earth-splitting chasm landed, he teleported from the 3rd triple door again and hit Green Wolf. If we could understand it, then Green Wolf would definitely be able to react. It's because we can't understand it that Green Wolf has hope of being hit. Nameless, that guy, is so scary. Hearing Jiuer's explanation, the 4 people from the Wood Mansion were so shocked that their mouths were wide open. My God, this lunatic, is he even human? Chapter 425. Earth Chasm's damage was lower than Lu Chen had expected, but Lu Chen did not count on that bit of damage. What he wanted was the stun effect. As long as he could stun Green Wolf, it would be his time. For this, he did not hesitate to use up all 3 chances of the triple door. After a second of stun, Shadow Chasing Sand also lost control and posed no threat to Lu Chen. At this moment, it was time for Lu Chen to counterattack. Demon King's Will, refresh. Shadow of the Night. Lu Chen did not even have time to split up. He directly used the skill to refresh himself and appeared in front of Green Wolf. Tiger Descends the Mountain. Green Wolf's 5,600,000 HP was quite terrifying. However, considering that he was at least level 120, or even level 140, which was much higher than Lu Chen, and his Tier 3 equipment must be very overpowered. If Lu Chen went to Tier 3, his HP would definitely be much higher than this. However, for now, 5,600,000 HP was still not enough to fill the gaps between Lu Chen's teeth. Tiger Descends the Mountain's 10-hit combo, plus 20 poison damage, could definitely kill this person. However, just as Lu Chen's sword was about to land, a green light suddenly erupted from Green Wolf's body. Immediately after, the illusion of a Taoist holding a horsetail whisk appeared and sent Lu Chen flying. Lu Chen flew backward. He spread his wings and flapped them with all his might to stabilize himself. Before Lu Chen could figure out what was going on, the 3rd sword on Green Wolf's back floated up on its own and hovered in front of Green Wolf. At this moment, Green Wolf was clearly still in a stunned state and could not use the sword, but that sword actually activated a skill on its own. Lu Chen frowned and watched as Green Wolf's stun ended. After Green Wolf woke up, he was extremely angry. He was actually stunned by a Tier 2 brat and was almost heavily injured. To him, this was an unforgivable thing. "Brat, you dare to hurt me? I'll skin you alive." "Very good, you actually forced me to use the 3rd sword. I admit that you have some strength, but the more you do, the more I can't let you live. Swords come." Zhuing and Kuang Sha returned in front of Green Wolf. 3 swords hung in the air. Green Wolf was about to use his killing move. Sanqing Sword Art, 3 absolutes combine. With a boom, an explosion instantly engulfed the entire area. The entire world suddenly came to a standstill. There was no wind in the surroundings. The clouds in the sky seemed to be stuck to the ground, not moving at all. The grass on the ground maintained various tilted angles, which had been blown down by the strong wind from the battle between the two of them. At this moment, it was fixed at an unnatural angle. Most importantly, Lu Chen found himself unable to move. He couldn't use his physical body, nor could he use his spiritual power. This is a high-level array. Xiao Tian looked at the battlefield in horror. Big brother, this is an illusion-type array, right? Otherwise, it is impossible for such a heaven-defying array to appear in the third heavenly layer. Xiao Tian frowned. They could see very clearly from outside the battlefield. If it was only an illusion created by the people in the array, they should be able to tell. However, as outsiders, they could clearly see that everything in the array was fixed. It's not an illusion-type array. This shouldn't be a high-level array. Not to mention the third heavenly layer, even the fourth heavenly layer shouldn't have such a terrifying array that can lock time and space. Xiao Tian finally calmed down. Logic told him that this wasn't the terrifying array he thought it was. Jiao stared at the battlefield and said, Green Wolf's Sanqing sword art is different from ordinary Sanqing sword arts. The most terrifying part of his Sanqing sword art should be that it matches those 3 swords. Have you all forgotten that the third heavenly layer has already dropped cultivation technique exclusive weapons? After all, the Sanqing sword art was only a set of cultivation techniques. The same cultivation technique should have the same effect. However, the Sanqing sword art had a special point. The Sanqing sword art corresponded to the Jade Clear, Prime Clear, and Grand Clear despairs. Actually, it wasn't just that. The Sanqing sword art also corresponded to 3 exclusive weapons. The Sanqing sword art has its own corresponding exclusive weapons. When using the exclusive weapons to activate the cultivation technique, there will be a special effect. Shadow Pursuit and Wild Sand are relatively common dazzling weapons. It's not too difficult to get them. However, the hardest part of the Sanqing sword art to obtain is the Taoist heart that corresponds to Grand Clear. Xiao Tian said strangely, I don't remember the Taoist heart being mentioned in the family's weapon manual. Jiao replied faintly, the weapon manual didn't mention it because it's not in the weapon manual. It's in the Immortal Weapon Manual. Back then, I peeked at the Immortal Weapon Manual. I remember there was a record of the Taoist heart. It's a white immortal weapon in the third heavenly layer. Although Xiao Tian was a top student, Jiao was entrusted with the important task of becoming the successor of the Wood Residence's treasure. This meant that she was even more of a top student than Xiao Tian. In fact, Jiao didn't rely on hard work, but talent. She could remember the Immortal Weapon Manual after just one glance. This wasn't something that could be done with hard work. If I'm not wrong, this is the special effect of the Sanqing sword art when using the exclusive weapons. Only then did the Wood Residence members understand the whole story. That sword is actually an immortal weapon. No wonder Green Wolf wasn't willing to use it in the beginning. Not only is it an immortal weapon, but it's even paired with an exclusive cultivation technique. This Green Wolf is too strong. Green Wolf's strength has already exceeded our expectations. Nameless is probably in trouble now. After Jiao explained the special effect of the 3 ultimate fusion, she kept staring at the battlefield. Nameless, this is an unsolvable situation? Please, hurry up and use your heaven tier cultivation technique. Otherwise, we won't have a chance. Lu Chen had never encountered such a situation before. There was a debuff on him. 3 ultimate lock. Physical lock, the physical body cannot be moved. Spiritual core lock, the spiritual core cannot be used. Spiritual core lock, the spiritual energy cannot be transferred. The difference between the spiritual core lock and the spiritual core lock was that the spiritual core lock locked Lu Chen's spiritual core, while the spiritual core lock locked the spiritual energy. In other words, even if Lu Chen had prepared any talismans or tools in advance, they couldn't be used. The current Lu Chen really couldn't move at all. Green Wolf wasn't in a hurry to attack. He looked at Lu Chen, who couldn't break free, and revealed a cruel and arrogant smile. I've said it before. In front of me, you can't defy the heavens. Now do you understand? There's a difference of 1 heaven between us. You want to kill me? You won't be able to in this lifetime. Green Wolf brushed the dust off his body and tidied his clothes. This was caused by the earth-splitting chasm just now. To be able to meet me, you have no regrets in this life. In return, I'll let you experience what true death is. Green Wolf moved his sword finger. Brutal Demon Lord, Pain Awakening, 200%. A status appeared on Green Wolf's body. The pain he felt increased by 200%, reaching 3 times the normal value. It turned out that the prerequisite for Green Wolf to be able to adjust the pain ratio was that he had to endure the same pain. However, he seemed to be very confident that only he could hurt others, and no one could hurt him. Next, it seems like it's time for me to slaughter a pig. Your friend was quite unyielding just now. Now, let's see if your bones are tough enough. Green Wolf smiled. 3 pure sword art, 1 becomes 10,000. Chapter 426. Countless flying swords as thin as silver needles swept across Lu Chen's body. Countless holes appeared on his body as he bled profusely. -474, -491, -428. Lu Chen had not seen 3-digit damage in a long time. However, when these negligible damages were stacked on top of each other, the damage could only be described as terrifying. Lu Chen's HP bar instantly dropped to red blood. Li Muhua looked at this scene angrily. No one knew better than him the unbearable pain of being amplified by pain perception. To be honest, if not for the fact that there were so many people watching, Li Muhua would definitely not be able to hold himself back as a soldier of Huaxia. At this moment, the pain that Lu Chen was experiencing was even more intense than before. 3-fold pain perception. Even he did not dare to imagine that kind of pain. Damn it, that pervert. Why does he take pleasure in torturing and killing? Why is his mind so perverted? Nameless. Lu Chen gritted his teeth and held on. Although he was not a soldier, he had grown up in adversity. This gave him a tenacity and endurance that ordinary people could not compare to. Damn it, what kind of abnormal state was this? Was he going to stand there and let him hit him like a wooden stake? This skill was too perverted. What kind of existence was a level 3 celestial stage? How could he have such a skill that made him feel helpless? Haha, I like your current expression. Green Wolf suddenly laughed. You're so angry that you're gnashing your teeth, yet you can't do anything to me. Are you unwilling to accept this? In the face of absolute strength, anger is useless. You want to protect those useless people, right? Don't you know that in front of me, you're just a useless person? What will you use to protect them? Your life? Unfortunately, your life doesn't belong to you. Your life is in my hands. What heart-refining courtyard's strongest person? In front of me, you're worse than dog shit. I let you use your heaven-level technique just now. Great, now you won't even have the chance to use it in the future. At this moment, outside the formation, someone suddenly shouted, Nameless. Use your heaven-level technique. Lu Chen looked outside the formation. The person who shouted at him was Jiao, heir of the Wood Residence. His last sword is an immortal weapon. His 3 absolutes as 1 is a special effect of the 3 exclusive cultivation techniques and weapons. It's not really unsolvable. If your physical attacks break through the upper limit of his seal, the 3-terminal formation will be broken. Jiao had already thrown caution to the wind. Before this, Green Wolf wasn't sure if she was the last hidden member of the Woodwood Mansion team or the one with the most precious treasure. But now, Green Wolf was sure that Jiao was the person he was looking for. It was impossible for the players from Earth to know about exclusive skill manuals and weapons. Only the people from the Wood Mansion would know about them. However, this girl was not one of the 4 people who stopped Hunter Emperor. The result was self-evident. Green Wolf laughed instead of getting angry. This woman is crazy. Do you think my 3 absolute lock is so easy to break? I'm not afraid to tell you that you can't break the 3 absolute lock. Your physical attack can exceed 810,000? Even I can't break it, but you can. Alright, now that I've told you the upper limit of the 3-terminal formation, why don't you break it for me to see? My 3-death lock is unstoppable in the 3rd heaven. You want to break it? Ha, naive. Hearing Green Wolf's words, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Green Wolf directly stated the upper limit of the 3 absolute lock. This was obviously a stupid action in a big battle. However, when he said 810,000 physical attack, everyone didn't feel any hope. Instead, they felt even more despair. 810,000 physical attack? How could it be 810,000 physical attack? Even Green Wolf's physical attack wasn't that high. Without a doubt, no one in the third heaven could break it. I've searched high and low for it, only to find it by chance. The last person from the Woodwood Mansion jumped out on her own. Looks like I've gained a lot this time. Not only did I get a rare battle pet, but I also got the family treasure of the Woodwood Mansion. Speaking of which, I really don't understand. Is there no one else in the Woodwood Mansion? Why would they give the treasure to such a brainless woman? Since you've come out, then don't run. With that, Green Wolf's sword fingers suddenly changed. Countless sword needles shot towards Jiao. Xiao Tian and the others were shocked and rushed towards Jiao. However, just because Lu Chen could avoid the shadow-chasing sand didn't mean that the others could. 3 Purities Sword Technique. Every time I use a sword, my attack and speed will increase by 100%. Do you really think you can save her? Humph, what idiots. Green Wolf sneered. Seeing that the sword needles were about to pierce Jiao, Xiao Tian was furious. He shouted, Woodwood Mansion's secret technique, sacrifice. In an instant, Xiao Tian and Jiao switched places. In the next second, countless flying needles pierced through Xiao Tian's body. This attack was different from the one he used on Lu Chen. Although Green Wolf dared to steal from the Woodwood Mansion, he didn't dare to kill the people from the Woodwood Mansion. Stealing from the Woodwood Mansion was a sign of strength. This meant that the newcomers couldn't do it themselves. However, killing them would offend the Woodwood Mansion. That was something that the Woodwood Mansion wouldn't tolerate. Therefore, he only had one goal in using the shadow-chasing sand, and that was to kill Jiao. Unfortunately, Green Wolf had forgotten to turn off the tyrant mode. Even someone as strong as Xiao Tian couldn't help but let out a heart-wrenching howl. Ah! Big brother! The eyes of the 4 people from the Woodwood Mansion turned blood red. To them, Xiao Tian was their big brother. He was their team leader and also their older brother. Normally, Xiao Tian would be the one to scout the area and come back to plan the trip. When they encountered danger, it was Xiao Tian who led the way. He had always been protecting his brothers and sisters. He also doted on these willful brothers and sisters. Jiao said that she had to help Nameless. Although he didn't agree, he still compromised in the end. When Jiao was in danger, he didn't hesitate to exchange his life for Jiao's, even if he knew what was about to happen. In the Woodwood Mansion team, Ba Men, Chi Chi, Wan and Jiao all respected this older brother. At this moment, when they saw Xiao Tian's tragic sacrifice, how could they not be moved? Green Wolf frowned. The Woodwood Mansion actually has this kind of secret technique? Che, but what's the point of doing this? That woman will still die in my hands and you won't be able to protect the treasure. Sigh, what a stupid and boring death. This kind of idiot can be the team leader. What trash. Big brother. Green Wolf, you bastard, I'll kill you. Ba Men shouted as he pounced at Green Wolf. If you want to kill me, you're far from enough. Green Wolf's target was only Jiao. His finger turned again and the shadow-chasing sand shot towards Jiao. Leave the treasure first, then I'll kill you all one by one. At this moment, Green Wolf suddenly turned around and looked behind him in shock. Because of this accident, Jiao dodged the shadow-chasing sand. Impossible. This is impossible. Green Wolf's eyes were round and full of fear and shock. Impossible, my 3 absolute lock. You can't. Your attack power. Impossible. Within the 3 absolute lock, the man covered in blood had his head lowered. His expression couldn't be seen. However, his body was undergoing some kind of change. The space around him was actually trembling. It was like a wild beast that had been chained up and was trying to break free from its shackles. Green Dog, I've never wanted to kill like today. His voice seemed to come from his throat. Your 3 absolute lock can't be broken by anyone? Very good. Green light uncontrollably emitted from his eyes. It was like two ghostly flames, causing one to be terrified. War god possession. Demon transformation. Raising his head, Lu Chen stared at Green Wolf. You want to see my heaven-grade cultivation technique? Fine, I'll fulfill your wish. Today, I'll let you know what a demon is. Demon transformation. Chapter 427. The three transformations of gods and demons had very clear requirements. The three transformations of demons required one to enter a demon form from a non-human form. All the players, green wolves, and even the Hunter Emperor were attracted by the performance of the person in the three-death formation. His skin was cracking bit by bit. The dark green light in his eyes could no longer be restrained by the human skin and crazily overflowed. Oh my God, what happened to Brother Nameless? This is demon transformation? No, it's definitely not. I'm too familiar with the process of demon transformation. This is definitely not demon transformation. Although demon transformation was still demon transformation, the degree of change wasn't too big. At least after the transformation, they could still see that it was Brother Nameless. But this time, it was obviously not that simple. Finally, like a cicada breaking out of its cocoon, the man's clothes and skin all exploded. A terrifying demon gradually stretched its majestic body. Its face was ferocious, and its eyes were burning with green flames. Its muscular and well-proportioned body was 3 to 4 meters tall, and its green skin was covered with curses as if it was a cursed creature. The two thick demon horns on its head bent backward, and the pair of wings on its back opened uncontrollably due to the surge of power. Seeing this demon, the players on Earth were extremely shocked. Although the players on Earth were relatively quiet, there was no doubt that everyone's hearts were exploding. This is him? No, impossible. How is this possible? Oh my God, why is it like this? I'm a bit confused. In other words, he is him? Oh my God, he is him. Damn, my world is collapsing. The two great legends of Jutian actually overlapped. How is it possible that God of War and Mad Demon? Countless people's minds short-circuited. All kinds of scenes in the past that shouldn't have overlapped were forcefully superimposed on one person at this moment. The first mysterious person in Jutian to pass through the poison fog forest and sell equipment in large quantities. The God of War who fought against the attacks of multiple countries by himself. The only player who had a personal dungeon. The demon who massacred cities many times. The mysterious leader who formed the strongest guild at the moment. The super expert who single-handedly killed the Sky Domain boss and the guardian of Earth Village. Cold and ruthless? Approachable? Global enemy? Human guardian? God of War? Mad Demon? Would Manners Joa's eyes widened and her red lips parted. She wanted to say something but didn't know where to begin. Is this the true form of that madman? Why is he in his demon form? This was impossible. It has never appeared in any of the family's records. Lu Yi was more shocked than anyone else. Brother. There were tears in her eyes. Brother. She still remembered that insufferably arrogant and unapproachable mad demon. He had taken great care of Guanglong, especially her. He had said that Nameless had asked him to do so, but in fact, she remembered that when they were young, the brother and sister would share a steamed bun, and her brother would tell her with a smile. I'll make sure you're full in the future. Not only will you be full, but I'll also make you fat. Brother, I don't want to be fat. What's wrong with being a little fatter? Brother, I heard people say today that people change. Will you always love me in the future? Silly girl, no matter what your brother becomes, the person he loves the most will always be you. Brother, there's never been a mad demon with you to level up. You've always been alone in Jyotian. There's never been anyone with you to face your enemy's attacks. You carried everyone's hopes alone. I should have known it was you. I should have thought of it. I'm sorry, brother, I should have thought of it. Lung Nu Ah suddenly felt a little dazed. In that cameo, Big Boss had played the role of the Demon Lord. That cold and gentle character had perfectly overlapped with the person in front of her at this moment. If I wasn't the Demon Lord, Would you love me? Did he hate his demon identity, so he had the nameless identity? Li Muhua didn't expect that the secret that Lu Qin had kept for a year would finally be revealed in front of everyone at this moment. In order to protect the players on Earth, in order to protect the people he wanted to protect, he would do anything. However, there should be a lot of people who had opinions about the mad demon. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to reveal his identity at this time? Suddenly, someone in the crowd shouted, "Mad God, let's have a fight." I don't care what the mad demon did in the past. At that time, everyone thought this was a game. What's the big deal about killing people and massacring people? Who hasn't done it before? Everyone in level 1 is working hard to become stronger. Why do you want the mad god to do things that you can't do yourself? Ever since we came to level 2, both the mad demon and the nameless have fought for us. Now, the mad god is fighting a powerful level 3 elite. What reason do we have to blame him? Mad demon and the god of war, as long as you're fighting for Earth, I'm willing to worship you as the mad god. Today, no matter who wins or loses, it's the battle of the mad god. The real mad god. I'm willing to worship you as the mad god. That's right. You can say that I'm a bootlicker or that I'm cheap, but I'm convinced by this person. The mad god is the pride of us Earth players. You have thousands of troops and thousands of elite fighters, but I have the mad god. The mad god can beat me 1,000,000 times, but I treat the mad god like my first love. The person next to her was speechless. Sister, although what you said is true, but isn't it a bit inappropriate to say this now? To be honest, I've always liked the mad demon more. Back then, I voted for him as the most handsome man on Earth. I really like his chest muscles. Wow, that feeling of Beauty and the Beast. No, this is definitely an upgraded version of Beauty and the Demon. It's super exciting just thinking about it. The young man almost vomited blood. We're all big sisters like this? Mad God, break that bastard's bullshit 3-death formation. Mad God, kill Green Dog. Li Muhua looked at the excited players in surprise. He didn't expect that these players didn't care about the Mad Demon's previous massacre. Supporting the Mad God had become the mainstream. Their only worry was now gone. The War of the Gods? Very good, Chen. Go all out and fight. No matter what the result is. Jiao looked behind her in surprise. Was this the Earthling? Ba Men frowned. That guy has cheated a lot of people in level 1. Is that why he's been hiding his other identity? But why is he no longer hiding it now? Why is he doing this? Ba Men turned to look at Sister Jiao. Jiao was a little embarrassed. Indeed, that guy had released this power right before she was about to be killed. Was he doing this for her? Maybe not. Maybe he was doing this for his own people, but at least Jiao's heart was stirred. The War of the Gods? With the difficulty of this battle, it was indeed qualified to be called the War of the Gods. But could he break the 3-death formation? At this moment, there was a loud bang. Inside the 3-death formation, the surrounding space shattered like glass. There was a terrifying roar. A demon had broken free from its shackles. Chapter 428. 3-death formation, break. Demonic change. All types of damage dealt by oneself and demonic pets will be increased by 300%. All attacks will be converted into dark-type attacks 100%. The ratio is controllable. At the same time, it will be punished by the heavens, and 5% of its maximum health will be taken every second. When Lu Chen completed the demonic change, the sky was instantly filled with dark clouds, lightning and thunder. The wind raged, making it hard for people to stand still. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck his body. Lu Chen's health bar, which was already not much, dropped by a large chunk. Punishment from the heavens. It was as if this creature was not recognized by the heavens and earth and had triggered a heavenly anomaly. Green Wolf's eyes were wide open. Even he had never seen such a horrifying skill. Punishment from the heavens? What kind of skill was this? However, Green Wolf was indeed an experienced fighter. He quickly calmed himself down. Judging from the Mad God's health, Lu Chen would die after 2 more heavenly punishments. He had less than 2 seconds. No matter what skill the other party used, it was impossible to kill him in 2 seconds. Green Wolf was absolutely confident. You can't even live anymore, and you still want to be a hero and protect those useless people? The demon cracked a maniacal smile. Protect them? They don't deserve it. I just want to kill you. The group of Earth players was dumbfounded. What? The mad god said we don't deserve it. What does that mean? Can't you tell what he means? He already thinks we're a burden to him. We supported him so much before. It turns out that in his eyes, we're just trash. Could it be that his consciousness was affected after he turned into a demon? Don't defend that guy. I think he's just looking down on us. Lu Yi frowned. This was definitely not her brother's style. He wouldn't say something like that. Then what did he mean? Jiu was puzzled. This guy was obviously here to protect the Earth players. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come at all. But why did his temperament suddenly change? To say such heartless words to a group of people who supported him. It was very hurtful. On the battlefield, Lu Chen didn't care about what these people thought. He didn't have much time. Ghostly shadows, 100 ghosts parade. In an instant, over 100 identical demons appeared on the field. These demons moved rapidly in the field, their figures blurred. The most important thing was that at this time, it was impossible to distinguish which one was the real Lu Chen. This is illusory displacement? Green Wolf's eyes widened. His 3 purity sword arts did have an area of effect, but in the face of so many illusions he didn't dare to attack rashly. If he made a wrong judgment and allowed that guy's real body to get close, he would be in danger. One had to know that this guy was the one who broke through the 3 extinction formation. His physical attack was over 810,000. Even Green Wolf wouldn't dare to let that guy get close. The only way was to use the shield of 10,000 swords to temporarily defend. As long as he could hold on for 2 seconds, he would win. Sanqing sword art, myriad sword shield. 1 shield of 10,000 swords might not be enough. Sanqing sword art, Sanqing protection. Behind the azure wolf, 3 afterimages of immortals appeared. With 4 layers of defense, they could last for 2 seconds. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind Green Wolf and was about to attack. This figure was extremely fast, and its figure was blurry, making it difficult to detect. However, Green Wolf wasn't surprised. Instead, he was delighted. The strength of the phantoms lay in their illusions. Previously, when he couldn't identify Mad God's real body, he was still worried. However, now that he had discovered Mad God's attack, he could win as long as he avoided it. Are you the only one who knows displacement? Star treading 9 palaces. In an instant, Green Wolf's figure suddenly disappeared and reappeared far away from Mad God. Trash, you've already lost. Is that so? A hoarse voice suddenly sounded in his ears. You're already dead. A ghostly figure suddenly appeared in front of Green Wolf. Dragon blood boil. Tiger descends the mountain. Green Wolf's nerves jumped. That guy actually had the patience to play tricks with him in the last 2 seconds. How calm could this guy be? No, he still had 4 layers of defense and 5,600,000 HP. He only had 1 second left. There was no way he could kill him. Tiger descends the mountain directly hit him with a 10-hit combo and 30 hits. The poison attack was ineffective against the 10,000 sword shield, but the 10-hit combo hit the spinning sword formation. At this time, Lu Chen's HP was less than 1%. Under the passive frenzy state, his attack speed, movement speed, and attack power increased by 396%, and his skill cooldown decreased by 99%. What was even more terrifying was that he had activated Dragon Blood Boil. After 80% of his HP was deducted from 1%, he had 0.2% HP left, which was only a few 100,000 HP. At a glance, his HP bar was already empty. However, what he got in return was a crazy state that bordered on insanity. His attack speed was already hard to catch with the naked eye. 1 hit, and the 10,000 swords shield shattered. 1 hit, and the Shang-Qing protection collapsed. 1 hit, and the Shang-Qing protection collapsed. 1 hit, and the Shang-Qing protection collapsed. In the blink of an eye, Green Wolf was about to face that crazy, sinister smile. "Green Dog, you've been waiting for a long time. It's your turn." The demon's sharp claws instantly cut through Green Wolf's luxurious clothes. In an instant, dozens of normal attacks caused a large number of damage values to float above his head. However, no one would have thought that this demon, who could break through 4 layers of defense, would cause surprisingly low damage when his attacks landed on Green Wolf's body. -17,000, -18,000, -17,000. It's impossible for the damage to be so low. 8 Gates frowned. However, he quickly thought of a possibility and immediately broke out in cold sweat. No, he didn't use his full strength. This was probably the only explanation. This guy. His HP is already so low, and he dares to not use his full strength? He's really crazy. He's completely crazy. Green Wolf deliberately used small damage to kill Big Brother and that Earth player. He did it on purpose. Warner frowned. That guy is punishing Green Wolf. Lu Chen adjusted his attack to around 800,000 DPS, which was just enough to allow him to sustain the effects of heavenly punishment. With rapid attacks, he could split the 800,000 DPS into dozens of attacks, or even dozens of attacks. With every attack, he was tearing Green Wolf's body apart. Blood splattered everywhere, and his body became blurry. The negative statuses on him had already made it impossible for him to do anything. Stun, silence, speed reduction, and spiritual energy storage rapidly decreased. At this moment, Green Wolf's brutal Demon King effect had become the most terrifying negative statuses on him. "You lunatic, stop right now." Stop? That was absolutely impossible. Even heavenly punishment could not stop him. The current Lu Chen had already performed madness to the extreme. "I'm going to tear you apart." Green Wolf screamed and looked at the lunatic in front of him in horror. Even if he had survived in the cruel environment of the third heaven for such a long time, he could not help but feel fear and despair. It turned out that from looking down on everyone to being scared witless, it was only a matter of an instant. "Please, please, let me go. I won't dare to do it again." A crazy and bloodthirsty face instantly came close to Green Wolf's terrified face. He licked his lips and smiled. "Sorry, I don't accept begging." Chapter 429. He ignored Green Wolf's cries and pleas as he killed and tore him apart. Blood splattered everywhere. The demon seemed to want to empty out Green Wolf's body. A level 3 powerhouse begged in front of him, but he couldn't win his forgiveness. 6 million HP, under the rapid attack, was nothing. Seeing that Green Wolf's HP was almost empty, Lu Chen snorted and raised the reverse water scale sword. Black Dragon Soul Seal. The reverse water scale sword instantly turned into a black tiger dragon and directly pierced through Green Wolf's body, nailing him to the ground. Black Dragon Soul Seal. After being hit by the Soul Seal, the player will not be able to revive for 3 days. After reviving, the player will only have 1 HP left. "You're so cruel." Green Wolf died after saying his last sentence. Devil Transformation didn't show the skill's duration, but Lu Chen had lost his target and quickly dispelled the Devil Transformation state. The bloodthirsty state disappeared, the heaven's punishment gradually disappeared, and the dark clouds gradually dispersed. A demon held the reverse water sword with his back facing everyone, nailing a strong enemy under his sword. After the battle, a gentle breeze blew past, and the grass rippled like waves. The fragrance of the grass was mixed with the faint smell of blood. In the azure sky, white clouds brushed past. The sky was high and the clouds were far away. In the distance, the 3 demon beasts of the Hunter Emperor had already been defeated. Their bodies still had traces of being gnawed by little furball. The Hunter Emperor was still bitterly holding on, but he only had a pitiful amount of HP left. Now that he saw his master's tragic death, his heart was probably dead. He had already given up resisting and stood there in a daze. "You four come back." Lu Chen's voice was very low, very calm, and very tired. He didn't kill the Hunter Emperor. Behind him, There were countless of his compatriots, his friends, his family, but he didn't turn back. He just stood there, slightly raised his head, looking at the sky and breathing in the fresh air. The wind gently caressed his pores. The nine heavens domain was as real as ever. In the end, he still came to this step and used the method he hated the most to let everyone know everything. There was no cheering behind him, it was so quiet that it was scary. He must have scared them, whatever, he would eventually go far away. He could not take care of these people forever, and as the people he met grew stronger, these people would also suffer because of him. In the end, they still had to rely on themselves. It was time for him to let go of this responsibility. Those fellows should not disappoint him. Since that was the case, he might as well do it more thoroughly. "Boss, are you all right?" A voice came from behind him. It was kneeling every 10 steps, the first person to call him nameless. He had long become Lu Chen's trusted friend. Lu Chen slowly turned around. The green mist in his eyes left 2 afterimages, just like his tears. Pulling out the reverse water scale rune sword, Lu Chen slowly raised his sword. He grinned arrogantly. "Of course I'm fine." "It's good that you're fine. Boss, thank you for protecting us again." "Protect you?" Lu Chen sneered. "I've already said that you don't deserve it. I only want to defeat stronger opponents. You're too weak. It's my shame to be the same as you. I think Green Dog is right. You don't have to continue living in the Jiotian. It's too easy for you. This won't do. I have to let you know what you are. Tiger's roar. Great Ravager's sweep." Without warning, Lu Chen directly swung out dozens of sword auras. Even without the god transformation, Lu Chen's fury status was still there. His attacks were already terrifying. Wherever the sword auras passed, corpses were everywhere. Under 30 sword auras, countless Earth players were killed instantly. Is this guy really crazy? Why is he like this? Has he really gone mad? Damn it, to think that I supported him just now. He's a bastard. I've already said that this guy is not a good person. He's not worthy of our trust. When Lu Yi saw this scene, she was dumbfounded. Was this her brother? No, definitely not. As the saying goes, the person involved is confused, but the onlooker sees more clearly. Jiu frowned and did not say anything. In the blink of an eye, millions of Earth players were killed. The Earth players' army was in chaos. Lu Chen finally stopped. He summoned the 9-winged dragon, jumped on it, and flew into the distance. Jiu saw this and seemed to have made up her mind. She gritted her teeth and chased after him. After Lu Chen left, Hunter Emperor's legs turned to jelly. He knelt on the ground and repeated in a daze, "He's a demon, a demon, a demon." Jiu chased after the dragon in the sky. Soon she could not catch up. Fortunately, the 9-winged dragon seemed to have landed on a mountain peak. Damn it, where did this guy get this mount? Why can't I use my mount when he's using it? Jiu was so angry that she gritted her teeth. However, she did not stop. The 9-winged dragon had landed. She could finally use her mount. "Elite Guard, bring me to that mountain peak." In front of the cliff at the mountain peak, a demon was sitting by the cliff in a daze. He did not seem to be in a good mood. Lu Chen saw a big bird circling around for a while before flying toward him. He frowned slightly and was about to leave. "Hey, don't go." Lu Chen took a closer look. There was a person standing behind the big red bird. It was Jiu from the Wood Mansion. Jiu quickly arrived at the mountain peak. She kept her elite guard and landed not far from Lu Chen. It was the first time seeing this terrifying demon so close. Jiu was very nervous. She stood there and did not dare to come closer. Lu Chen could not help but laugh. This girl was still so timid. He still remembered how she gave him 3 or 4 victories in the ancient battlefield. "But are you really nameless?" Jiu was very nervous. Lu Chen really wanted to scare her. However, considering that the people from the Wood Mansion had helped the Earth players when he was not around, he did not want to scare this coward. "Didn't you see me transform?" After hearing an affirmative answer, Jiu was slightly relieved. "I know why you want to kill your own people." Lu Chen frowned slightly. "Why?" You purposely left the Hunter Emperor alive and let him see you turn against your compatriots in front of him. After this news spreads, your enemies won't come looking for trouble with Earth's players anymore. Lu Chen looked at Jiu in surprise. Others did not see it, but she saw it first. Also, she was the one who reminded him of the way to break the three-death formation. This woman, other than being afraid of ghosts, was actually quite smart. What you did was right. Jiu finally gathered her courage and walked over. Earth is a technological world. There is no martial power. A world without any foundation is too weak in the Jutian world. The best way to protect them is to draw a clear line with them. Jiu looked at Lu Chen's eyes. She wanted to see that familiar look in Lu Chen's eyes. However, she could only see two balls of green flames. However, you also left them with the greatest opportunity. Lu Chen frowned slightly. When I left, the Hunter Emperor was scared out of his wits. He definitely did not dare to stay in the Earth Village for long. Furthermore, the Black Dragon Soul's seal prevented Green Wolf from reviving for 3 days. The Hunter Emperor definitely did not dare to wait for his master to revive. And after Green Wolf was resurrected, he only had 1 HP. That is to say, the players on Earth could kill him without limit. Any equipment that he dropped would be a treasure even in the second heaven. But you didn't take any of them and left them all to your compatriots. The reason why you did that, I guess, is because you are about to leave the second heaven. Because you can no longer protect them, you did not hesitate to be misunderstood. Am I right? Lu Chen was shocked. This woman's IQ was a little scary. Chapter 430. Lu Chen's silence was a tacit agreement. He didn't expect that the person who understood him the most was Jiu of the Wood Manor, whom he had only met a few times. Lu Chen turned his head and looked in the direction of Earth Village. The reason why he wasn't so lucky was because he could see his companions here. Jiu gathered her courage and sat beside Lu Chen. Is your planet beautiful? Jiu smiled. Che, everyone says their planet is beautiful. It's true, it's especially beautiful. At least in the galaxy I know, there isn't a planet that's as beautiful as yours. It's a blue planet, just like a sapphire. Blue? Jiu frowned slightly. It's indeed rare. If there's a chance, I'll go to your home to take a look. Can you go to my planet? Yes, but it can only be done in a higher heaven. Then can you go? I'm a little doubtful. Jiu realized that Lu Chen was saying that her strength was too weak. She immediately frowned and glared at Lu Chen. I'm so arrogant with just this bit of strength. Let me tell you, wait for me to fuse. In any case, I'll definitely catch up to you in the future. Alright, you said it. I hope you won't make me wait too long. Of course. How can you look down on the people of the Wood Manor? Jiu's unconvinced expression was especially cute. So your ID is solipsistic? Lu Chen revealed his golden ID. Showing off again. Lu Chen shook his head helplessly. It's golden. What can I do about it? Alright, but your ID is a little similar to your personality. Is it? I'm actually very low-key. It's just that my opponents seem to like to be high-profile, which gives me a headache. With this girl, Lu Chen could casually talk to her about a lot of thoughts that he wouldn't talk to others about. Lu Chen didn't know what this feeling was, but he was willing to tell Jiu so much. Right, the person who blocked the sword for you is? It's my big brother. Jiu rushed to answer. Lu Chen nodded. Thank him for me. Jiu's face immediately turned red. Her big brother had blocked the sword for her, so why should she thank him? Thank you for your help. If it weren't for you, Green Dog would have killed a lot of Earth players. He had tripled the pain threshold. Many people wouldn't be able to take it. There are also many women and children in there. Lu Chen was still a little angry when he mentioned this. He had indeed killed countless Earth players, but they were all normal kills. He didn't activate the sense of pain, and he couldn't activate the Jiao Dragon's soul seal. He just needed to go back and revive. It was completely different from Green Wolf's torture. What's there to thank me for? Speaking of which, it was Big Brother who said that you might have been beaten back to the first layer of heaven. Ah? So it was you guys who spread the rumors. Then we didn't do it on purpose. The Immortal Trail Forest was almost destroyed. Even 10 of us wouldn't be able to survive. Who knew that you would be so powerful? Jiao said without any confidence. Lu Chen was both angry and amused. Alright, he couldn't afford to be angry with them. Mad God, when are you going to the third layer of heaven? I still need some time. I'm going to open the purgatory difficulty. You're going to open the purgatory difficulty. You're trying to kill us. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Suffer a little now, and you'll be stronger in the future. Don't you people from the wood residence know a lot? How come you don't know this? We came out to train, but because of my body. Anyway, my family didn't want anything to happen to me, so we found a less difficult area to train in. In the end, you raised the easy difficulty area to the top. Did I offend you in some way? Lu Chen smiled. This can only mean that you're unlucky to always meet me. We've only met a few times. It's more than you think, Lu Chen said mysteriously. Before this woman knew about the ancient battlefield, they had already met. Beside the cliff, a timid wood residence Jiao was leaning against a terrifying demon. The two of them were casually chatting about boring topics, but they didn't feel bored. Neither of them was willing to leave first. In the end, it was Jiao who left first. Xiao Tian had revived, so she had to go back and take a look. I'll leave first. Oh right, wait for me to leave before riding your 9-winged celestial dragon. Don't worry, the 9-winged celestial dragon's area of influence isn't that big. There's one more thing. Jiao summoned her elite guards, but looked at Lu Chen hesitantly. When we cross the bridge of helplessness. Forget it, I'll leave first. Lu Chen was also depressed. Why did she leave halfway through her sentence? After watching Jiao leave, Lu Chen stood up. He didn't know how the players on Earth would look at him in the future, but he didn't care. Especially after seeing Green Wolf's strength, Lu Chen couldn't wait to go to the third heaven to see what kind of place it was. Remnant life had told him that the third heaven was definitely not what he imagined it to be. The third heaven might have a lot of variables, but at least the people there were definitely strong enough. Level up, find the people in the mountains, kill spiritual martial apothecary, and then go to the third heaven. Lu Chen thought for a while, then changed back into his human skin. After all, the demon form was too eye-catching. 9-winged, let's go to the bridge of helplessness. Lu Chen summoned 9-winged celestial dragon, and the 9-winged celestial dragon spread its wings and soared into the sky, heading straight for the bridge of helplessness. Standing at the fork in the road, Lu Chen checked the map again. He had already explored the arena and Azura field on the east and west sides, as well as the map behind it. There was only one path left, and that was to go all the way north. Going north along the main road led to the Bridge of Helplessness, and further north was the Monster Mountains, the Fallen Immortal Plains, and the Level 80 main city, which was currently labeled as Ownerless Land. When he defeated the Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner, the Immortal Slaughtering Poisoner gave Lu Chen the coordinates of the people in the mountains. The location of the people in the mountains was the Fallen Immortal Plains. Since the journey was boring, Lu Chen summoned Rhubarb to accompany him on this journey. After walking north for 7 or 8 minutes, Lu Chen saw a wide river in the distance. He could barely see the other side of the river. There was also something special about this river. The river water was black, and there was a faint black mist rising from the river surface. Damn, what kind of river is this? Lu Chen looked as far as he could. There was a bridge at the end of the main road, and it must be the so-called Bridge of Helplessness. Rhubarb, follow me. I feel that this Bridge of Helplessness is not an ordinary bridge. Lu Chen perked up a little. An antique wooden bridge appeared in front of Lu Chen. Most of the bridge was hidden in the black mist, and only a small section of the wooden structure could be seen. There seemed to be a figure sitting on the bridge. It was unknown whether it was a player or an NPC. This bridge can cross such a wide river? It's a bit capricious. Speaking of which, could that person be Mengpo? I don't need to drink Mengpo's soup. Lu Chen couldn't help but think of some legends of Huaxia. In front of the wooden bridge, there was a stone tablet as usual. Forget this life in front of the Bridge of Helplessness. It's hard to meet after the Bridge of Helplessness. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. He didn't know what this sentence meant. He complained and stepped onto the Bridge of Helplessness. Seeing that someone was approaching, the person in the black fog finally stood up. This was an old woman who didn't look like a human at all. Her face was so bloated that it was almost scary. When she smiled, there was no sense of kindness or kindness. Instead, it made people's hair stand on end. "Young man, if you want to cross the bridge of helplessness, you have to pay the toll." The old woman smiled strangely. Chapter 431. Toll fee. Lu Chen looked at the old woman in surprise. "You're not really Meng Po, are you? Don't tell me you want me to drink Meng Po's soup? I'm not dead yet, and this isn't the underworld." The old woman maintained her unrefined smile. "That's just a legend in your little world. It's very different from the real Jiutian. I'm not Meng Po, I'm just collecting toll fees." "How much?" "A memory of the person you love the most," the old woman said with a smile. "Just one. That's a fair price, isn't it?" "Fuck fair my ass." "As expected, then I won't take your Naraka bridge. I'll just fly over." "Young man, do you know what's in the river of forgetfulness?" Lu Chen looked at the river water under the bridge. It was pitch black, but now that he was on the river, he could see more clearly. Only then did he realize that the river water was not black, but red. The color of blood after being exposed to oxidation for a long time. It's blood? In the past, all the players who died would have a part of their soul extracted and trapped here. Don't look at me in surprise. There's a price to pay for death. It's the same everywhere. Of course, in the first and second heavens, the loss of soul energy after death can be replenished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This is also why players lose experience after death. Jiutian uses the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to help nourish their damaged souls. Lu Chen was extremely shocked. An NPC on the Naraka bridge had once again overturned his understanding of Jiutian. When Jiutian was first released, other games required experience to level up, but Jiutian set it to require spiritual energy of heaven and earth. At that time, people thought that it was a setting change made by Tianxing to be more in line with Xianxia-themed online games. But now, Lu Chen understood that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had such a terrifying effect. At that moment, Lu Chen even felt that Nine Heavens realm was a little scary. The old woman continued to speak with a smile. "So many worlds, so many people, how many times have they died? You should understand this point. And the river of forgetfulness can be said to be the place with the most abundant heaven and earth spiritual chi in the second layer of heaven. In the sky above areas where spiritual energy is abundant, the flow of spiritual energy is fierce. Some places can fly at low altitudes, but the river of forgetfulness can't, because it not only condenses spiritual energy, but also resentment. Every player's negative emotions when they die will be collected and accumulated. The layer of fog on the surface of the river of forgetfulness is formed from negative emotions. Believe the old woman's words. If you don't want to die, then don't try to fly over the Wangchuan River. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes and hesitated. At this time, a large group of several dozen people came up to the bridge of helplessness. Seeing that Lu Chen hadn't made a decision, the old woman went to greet the group of people. Among the group of people, a middle-aged man seemed to be their leader. His ID was Big Brother Dai 2. He glanced at Lu Chen and was slightly puzzled. Why was there a guy here who was alone? "Hey, friend, why did you come to the bridge of helplessness alone?" Big Brother Dai 2 ignored the old woman and walked toward Lu Chen. The second heaven was very different from the first heaven. The more people in the first heaven, the stronger they were. But in the second heaven, when you saw a group of people in the wild, the fewer people there were, the stronger they were. Only when they were strong enough could they travel in the wild in a small group. Big Brother Dai 2 had at least 70 to 80 people on his side. He estimated that there were two groups, and their strength was considered average in the second heaven. However, Lu Chen never cared about other people's strength. When people talked to him enthusiastically, he never put on airs. "Oh, I came here first. Are you guys going to cross the bridge of helplessness?" "Yes." "Hey, friend, how many people are in your group?" This sentence was obviously probing Lu Chen's strength. 30 to 40. "Oh, then their strength is about the same as ours." Are you guys interested in joining us? After crossing the bridge of helplessness, the difficulty there is very high. I was originally in a group of 40. Later, a friend of mine joined another group, so we all joined together. We can take care of each other. Big Brother Die 2 was surprisingly straightforward. You also know that for people like us, it is more difficult to survive in the second heaven. It is much better to have someone to take care of each other. Lu Chen nodded. Yes, but Big Brother Die 2 saw that Lu Chen was unwilling and immediately took the initiative to say, "It's okay, it's okay. Hey, I was just mentioning. The key to forming a group is mutual trust. It is indeed not something that can be casually formed." Lu Chen had a good impression of Big Brother Die 2. This person was quite straightforward. "All right, Big Brother, how do you plan to pay for the bridge of helplessness?" She wants a memory of the person she loves the most. This is a bit exaggerated. What else can we do? If we don't pay, we can't cross. We can only pay. Then will I really forget about it after giving it to you? I mean, will we forget those memories in real life? Of course. At the current stage, Zhutian is connected to the game through the consciousness of the brain. Aren't memories stored in the brain? Lu Chen took a deep breath. If that was the case, then the toll was indeed a bit expensive. Isn't this too much? Big Brother Die 2 looked at Lu Chen. "Young man, you are a pure and innocent newbie. You are too honest. There are loopholes in this thing that can be exploited." Ah. Lu Chen looked at Big Brother Die 2 in surprise. There is a bug? Lu Chen really did not know where there was a loophole. Of course there is. Forget it, we are fated, so I will tell you. She wants a memory of the person you love the most. You can love a few more people on a daily basis. When the time comes, you will have a lot of choices. Lu Chen was shocked. What kind of bug was this? Humans must love everyone. Don't be so narrow-minded. Lu Chen took a deep breath and nodded solemnly. What Big Brother Die 2 said makes sense. But is there any way to remedy it now? Big Brother Die 2 looked at Lu Chen and hesitated. Ahem, there is, but I am really short on money to buy medicine recently. I can't think of anything at the moment. Lu Chen immediately understood and gave Big Brother Die 2 100 gold coins. Big Brother Die 2 looked at the money with some disdain. As the leader, you have to think for your subordinates. Lu Chen gave him another 900 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins was nothing to Lu Chen, but it was definitely a huge sum of money to the average player. I can tell that you are a sentimental person at first glance. Big Brother Die 2's eyes lit up. He quickly put away the gold coins, then whispered in Lu Chen's ear, "Haven't you heard of the saying, money makes the world go round? Give her 1,000 gold coins and she will let you pass." But little Brother Die 2, I have to tell you something. Big Brother Die 2 suddenly became serious. The path of Jiutian is as difficult as ascending to heaven. The fewer ties you have, the further you can go in the end. The bridge of helplessness is to make you stronger. After crossing the bridge of helplessness, forget a person and you will receive a 10% increase in attributes. At the same time, you will also forget those useless things. In order to become stronger, more people choose not to pay to cross the bridge. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Big Brother, what about you? Big Brother Die 2's smile was a little lonely. I have too much on my shoulders. If I am not strong enough, I can't even protect the person I love the most. What is the use of remembering? If you love that person enough, then forget her. Chapter 432. There were a lot of people on Big Brother's side, but not everyone knew the rules of the Bridge of Helplessness. The captains with inside information were explaining to their team members. Lu Chen already knew how to cross the Bridge of Helplessness. He walked in front of the old woman. "Excuse me, how much will it cost to cross?" The old woman looked at Lu Chen and smiled. "I quite like people like you who are straightforwards. I can let you cross for 10,000 gold coins, but you will lose the chance to increase your basic attributes by 10%. You should know that this is not a small bonus. Are you willing to lose this opportunity for someone? Besides, not everyone can take out such a large sum of money." Lu Chen smiled brightly. "Are there any other grades?" "Ha!" The old woman looked at Lu Chen in surprise. The fee to cross the Bridge of Helplessness was already an open secret, but there were not many who asked about other grades. 10,000 gold coins, 90% of people could not take it out. Not to mention the higher grades. There are, but I'm afraid you don't have that much money. When the surrounding people heard that there were other grades, they suddenly quieted down and looked at Lu Chen in surprise. Lu Chen smiled faintly. You can tell me about it. Maybe I can get it. Okay, I have two types of tolls. One is 1 million gold coins. Not only do you not have to pay for the memory, but you can also get the 10% attribute bonus. Lu Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. This method was already a safe choice. What about the other one? What about the other one? Tell me first, do you have 1 million gold coins on you? In high-level maps, some bounty hunters would have so much money on them, but that was only after they reached a higher level and became stronger. Those who could take out so much money before crossing the Bridge of Helplessness were definitely rare. Tell me the next one. The old woman looked at Lu Chen again and narrowed her eyes. Okay, then the next one, 100 times more. 100 million gold coins, memory retention, 20% attribute bonus. When they heard this price, the others suddenly exploded. Damn, 100 million gold coins? Are you kidding me? Who would have so many gold coins? I'm afraid that only a powerful organization can accumulate hundreds of millions of gold coins. No organization would spend so much money on a single person. Fuck, I can't even afford 10,000, let alone 1 million. Forget it. In order to become stronger, I'm willing to forget that person. However, at this moment, Lu Chen's voice was heard. I'll pay 100 million. Dao Du almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Could this guy afford 100 million gold coins? In this second heaven where currency was extremely scarce, how could he take out 100 million? Fuck this guy is too rich. Who is he? People from the 5 major powers? The 5 great powers can't give out so much for everyone. Lu Chen quickly paid the money. He obtained the title Money Can Reach the Heavens. Basic 4-dimensional attributes increased by 20%. Another title. But this time, Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. 100 million was a large sum of money to him, accounting for half of his total assets. However, it was definitely worth it to have 10% more attributes than others. Moreover, his basic attributes were already high, and his 20% increase was much greater than others. This deal was definitely worth it. Young man, I really couldn't tell. You can go over now. The old woman still had a smile on her face, but it seemed more sincere than the polite smile from before. Lu Chen nodded. Dao Tu's words just now had influenced Lu Chen. He still remembered that Kansheng had told him that there were no real NPCs in Jiutian, which meant that this woman was actually a player. Since she could take the money and let him go, it was very likely that she had a higher authority. In the end, Lu Chen tried to ask, and as expected, he received an unexpected reward. Just as Lu Chen stepped onto the Bridge of Helplessness, Dao Tu's shout came from behind him. Little brother, it's 100 million, is it worth it? Lu Chen stopped and turned to look at Dao Tu with a smile. The person I want to remember is definitely not a burden to me. On the contrary, she is my motivation. Moreover, I don't like to be led by the nose. Brother, thank you for letting me keep this memory. Lu Chen pushed a trade window and entered 1 million gold coins to Dao Tu. This is the reward. Dao Tu's eyes were filled with shock. That guy gave him 1 million gold coins for free. However, at the same time, he also gave him a super difficult problem. In the past, he did not have a choice, but now, how should he choose? Walking on the Bridge of Helplessness, Lu Chen noticed that someone was knocking on the door of the gaming cabin. Lu Yi ran to her brother's room and pulled him out of the gaming cabin. It was not easy for this girl to wait until now to find Lu Chen. Brother, why didn't you tell me earlier? Lu Yi was a little angry. Li Muhua knows. Lu Chen scratched his head. I didn't want to hide it from you, but I didn't find the right opportunity to say it. That, 10 steps must hate me. Do you think we're stupid? Lu Yi's anger had obviously not subsided. We all know what kind of person you are. Sister Nuanuo said that you must have done this to prevent more powerhouses from finding trouble with us. It's just that some people on the internet don't seem to understand you. Speaking of this, Lu Yi could not help but feel sorry for her brother. Brother, do you want to clarify things? Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. What's there to clarify? If I really clarify things, then wouldn't I have killed so many people for nothing? I don't care what others think of me. Don't go around talking about it. Develop yourselves well. Okay, got it, brother. Lu Yi said and walked over to hide in Lu Chen's arms like a spoiled child. You must be careful when you're alone in the future. Lu Chen touched Lu Yi's hair. Okay, I will. Looking at Lu Yi, Lu Chen smiled slightly. How could he forget about his sister? Being able to get the understanding of his friends was the happiest thing for Lu Chen. As for the others, Lu Chen did not care. On the contrary, he needed these people who did not understand him to make others think that Mad God and the players on Earth had broken up. After spending a huge sum of 100 million, Lu Chen did not feel anything. Earning money was not difficult for him. It seems that being rich is also a kind of ability. Lu Chen sighed. If there's a chance to make money in the future, I'll have to earn more, lest I encounter such a strange request again. Speaking of which, if I had to choose, who would I choose? It should be Lu Yi. Lu Chen thought about it and found that there was no suspense in this question. Unknowingly, Lu Chen had already passed the Naraka Bridge. Looking back at the river of forgetfulness, Lu Chen shook his head. Were there countless souls gathered there? Spirit Condensation Mountain gave birth to a sub-originator. Would something terrible be born here as well? Thinking of this possibility, Lu Chen could not help but shudder. After the battle with the tiger dragon, he really did not want to fight underwater. Even if there were, he did not want to go there for the time being. In front of him was the monster mountains. Compared to the monster forest, the quality of the monsters in the monster mountains was much lower. However, there were many species, and they were all gathered together. Snake, wolf, tiger, bear, flower demon. I have these bloodlines. Fox. Tree demon. What's that supersized weasel? As Lu Chen infiltrated, he could find the 5 fairies, lion, tiger, elephant, and ox here. This was the best place to farm bloodlines. It's a pity that their quality is not very high. I don't know if they will drop the best evolution materials. If they can't rise in stars, I can still fuse with another bloodline. Let's try their talents first and upgrade the bloodline and army to level 100. The mountain people's quest should not be simple. Lu Chen still needed to prepare. With a large number of clones, Furball, Suboriginator, Young Hundun, and Taotai helping to farm, Lu Chen's farming efficiency was extremely high. Even with 9 kills, his experience bar was still increasing. Little ones, you haven't farmed in a long time. Let's move and level up. Chapter 433. Lu Chen focused on hunting foxes first. The foxes here were snow foxes, fire foxes, and charm foxes. There were elites or bosses with multiple tails, but there wouldn't be more than 3. Lu Chen deliberately lowered the damage and looked at the foxes' talents. The most important talent of these foxes was evasion. To be precise, when they attacked, they would cause the attacker to hallucinate for a short period of time, causing the normal attack to miss. The probability wasn't very high, about 1 in 10. But the scariest thing was that once they evaded, Lu Chen's entire 5-hit combo would be completely evaded. Lu Chen thought about this problem. Although the combo consisted of several attacks, perhaps Jiutian's judgment was that no matter how many combo attacks there were, they were all just one attack. Once they evaded, they would evade all the combo attacks included in this attack. Of course, the specific situations still required the Fox Demon bloodline. 1,000 Fox Demons were quickly collected, and Lu Chen exchanged for the Fox Demon bloodline. Fox Demon bloodline, first job advancement, rank 0 to 12% chance to cause the enemy's vision to distort through charm, thereby evading the enemy's normal attack, including all the passive effects of this attack. 1% chance to evade the enemy's skills. TSK, this talent is quite strong. It can even evade skills. This is definitely possible. Let's see what other talents the wild monsters have first, then decide which to merge with and which to replace. For 2 weeks, Lu Chen had been wandering around the Monster Mountain range, constantly collecting new bloodlines. Even if these bloodlines couldn't be used temporarily, as long as he kept them, they could be used in the future when he rose in stars. On this day, Lu Chen opened the Lightless Sky Flame Pillar and the Black Coffin Dead Zone, sitting there and studying bloodlines. There were a large number of clones around, and a group of battle pets were cleaning up the battlefield. Lu Chen sadly realized that his level was no longer up to him. Whether he fought monsters or slacked off, it didn't have much effect on his level. His focus was still on the bloodlines of the 5 immortals: fox, rat, weasel, hedgehog, snake. Other than the snake venom he had, the remaining 4 were all new. The fox demon bloodline increases evasion, the rat demon bloodline steals the opponent's attack. The weasel demon bloodline is a weasel demon bloodline. Attacks break the opponent's defense. The hedgehog demon bloodline reflects damage. The damage reflection seems to be the best and can be stacked with my profound armor, but the damage reflection is only effective against close-range attacks. It has no effect against long-range attacks and skills. In reality, the effect is not as good as I thought. Lu Chen carefully analyzed the bloodlines. Forget it, I'll use the fox demon first. Although the dodging rate isn't too high, it can definitely change the outcome of the battle if I can dodge it once in the future. Fusing with the Fox Demon Bloodline. Upgrade to Tier 1 and Tier 2. Fox Demon Bloodline, first job transition, second rank, 16% chance of dodging an enemy's normal attack, including all passive effects attached to the attack. 2% chance of dodging an enemy's technique. 2% chance. I'll wear it first. After dealing with the new talent, Lu Chen upgraded the talent in his hands again. The materials he had now could upgrade 3 talents. He chose the Werewolf Bloodline's Critical Hit, the Flower Demon Bloodline's Vision Enhancement, and the Vengeful Spirit Bloodline's Attack Reduction. At this point, Lu Chen had temporarily settled all his talents. Werewolf Bloodline, Snake Demon Bloodline, Venomous Spider Bloodline, Succubus Bloodline, Tiger Demon Bloodline, Monkey Demon Bloodline, Corpse Demon Bloodline, Vengeful Spirit Bloodline, Bat Demon Bloodline, Bear Demon Bloodline, Fox Demon Bloodline, 11 major systems. Werewolf Bloodline, Tiger Demon, Succubus Bloodline, Vengeful Spirit Bloodline, Tiger Demon, and Bat Demon were all Tier 1 and Tier 2 talents, while the other 5 were Tier 9 talents. After 2 weeks, Lu Chen was already level 100. Lu Chen focused on his other hidden ID. Money Can Reach the Heavens, Demon Sovereign's Eye, Tiger's Courage and Dragon's Might, Silent Moon Vanguard, Take the Top, Capture the Tiger, Blood Pool Vanguard, Elite, Especially Strong, Especially Agile, Especially Muscular Knoll Leader, First Transformation Demonized Boss. Damn, it's so long. Alright, after fusing with the new bloodline, take a look at my form. After fusing with the Bear Demon, there aren't many changes, just that my chest muscles have doubled in size. I don't know what will happen after fusing with the fox. I hope it won't be too big. Lu Chen took off his human skin. There weren't many changes to the demon, just that 2 furry ears grew on top of his head, growing on top of his mighty and domineering horns. Damn. Fox ears. Damn it, why are they so feminine? It's completely different from my style. Lu Chen was feeling depressed, but when he turned his head he found that he had an additional foxtail. This really drove him crazy. Such a mighty and domineering demon with a pair of furry ears and a furry tail. This felt like a pair of muscular men and women's clothing. Damn it. Why did fusing with a fox cause 2 changes? Damn it. Lu Chen missed Louis too much. He hoped that he could kill the spiritual martial apothecary as soon as possible. Then he should have a chance to see Louis again. By then he would definitely ask her to throw him into her alchemy furnace to refine him. After letting out a long sigh, Lu Chen realized that he couldn't be handsome for more than 3 seconds. Finally, he stepped on the path to becoming uglier and uglier. I really shouldn't have fused with it. If I continue to fuse with it endlessly, what kind of monster will I become in the end? Lu Chen had no choice. He had changed into a human skin, and he didn't want anyone to see his current demon form. Now that he had reached level 100 and obtained the talent bloodline, it was time for Lu Chen to leave this place. Let's go. Next stop, Fallen Immortal Plains. The mountain man is on that map. I just don't know if that guy will find another hidden place to hide. All the way to the north, crossing over many mountains, the front suddenly became a flat land. Lu Chen successfully found the map stone tablet. Fallen Immortal Plains. The stars fell into the jade plate, and the immortals fell here. Legend has it that this is the site of the War of the 10,000 Immortals. The stars have changed and time has passed. The immortals left without a trace, but they attracted the immortals. Lu Chen was staring at the words on the stone tablet in a daze. Was this the site of the War of the 10,000 Immortals? Did the War of the 10,000 Immortals really exist? Were those people really immortals? Or were they itinerant immortals like Mu Xian? Or were they both? Solipsistic, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Lu Chen frowned slightly and turned around. This person was actually the mountain man. It's you? You've been waiting for me? Don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in men. The mountain man wore a bamboo hat. At first glance, he looked like an expert, but when he spoke, he was not serious. It was similar to the first time they met. Lu Chen was speechless. I didn't think that. Follow me. Lu Chen followed him. When they arrived at a remote thatched cottage, the mountain man poured Lu Chen a cup of tea. What kind of tea? Is it 50 spiritual energy per cup? Looks like you've drunk it before. The mountain man laughed. With your attributes, 50 spiritual energy is nothing. Lu Chen smiled sinisterly. 50 spiritual energy is very important. Then he drank it in one gulp. Plus 50 spiritual energy. Another cup. Lu Chen wiped his mouth. I'm not bragging, but I can drink until you go bankrupt. Chapter 434. How did you know I would come? Lu Chen asked as he sipped his tea. The mountain man took off his bamboo hat and placed it on the stone table. He smiled at Lu Chen. You defeated Poison Master Immortal in the arena and asked for my whereabouts. I knew you would come to find me. Lu Chen nodded and refilled his cup. There wasn't much tea in the teapot. Lu Chen drank 3 cups and it was gone. This guy was the same as Mu Xian. They were both stingy. Every time, they would only bring half a pot of tea to entertain people. After 3 rounds of tea, the mountain man smiled. Hey, don't just drink tea. Are you going to open the higher difficulty? I want to open the purgatory difficulty. Tell me, what's the mission? Mission? Haha, I don't need a mission. I just need you to agree to one of my requests. Lu Chen frowned and looked at the mountain man. You don't need a mission? The mountain man's smile didn't change. I was going to do a mission. But after you defeated Green Wolf, I decided to cancel these meaningless things. How can it be meaningless? You can get rewards by doing missions. I got seed from that mission. It doesn't matter. Even if there's no mission, the reward will still be given. Lu Chen stopped smiling. Obviously, this request wasn't so easy to accept. What is it? Fight with me. Lu Chen was shocked. Lu Chen wasn't sure how strong the mountain man was, but he was at least on the same level as Mu Xian. In other words, the mountain man's strength was at least an itinerant immortal. Could he win against an itinerant immortal? Little guy, don't be nervous. I'm just itching to fight you. It's boring to do nothing in the second layer of heaven. You can accompany me for some exercise. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. I'll give you a gift in the end. It shouldn't be worse than the hell and purgatory difficulty missions. Lu Chen's expression was serious. What's the difficulty of the game after the battle? Purgatory. Lu Chen nodded. As long as there was a reward, it didn't matter if he did the mission or not. Besides, he didn't need to win this battle. It was purely a competition. Sure. Lu Chen's lips curled up slightly. To be honest, I've long wanted to experience just how strong an expert like you is. The man from the mountain smiled. I don't think you'll be disappointed. With that, the man in the mountain waved his hand. and a sealed environment was formed within 10,000 meters. No one will be watching this battle. You don't have to hold back. Show me your full strength. The mountain man stood up and arrived at the center of the plain in the blink of an eye. Let me see what your upper limit is. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Did this person want to see the upper limit of his combat strength? To be honest, he had never calculated it himself. But one thing was for sure. Ever since he had reached the second heaven, no one was worthy of his full strength. The tiger dragon and green wolf were the same. A person who could make him go all out could only make Lu Chen feel excited. Lu Chen also stood up and walked towards the fallen immortal plane, standing in front of the mountain people. You're not going to use your demon transformation? Lu Chen shook his head gloomily. If this guy saw his new appearance, he would probably be laughed at. Whether or not I can see the demon transformation depends on whether you have the strength to do so. Hee, you'll know soon enough. Be careful, I won't go easy on you next. Me too. Both of them stopped smiling at the same time. Outside the fallen immortal plane, a group of people was standing in front of the map tablet. We're finally here. Let's go in. Huh? Why can't we go in? There seems to be a barrier. Is it the mountain protection array? I've never heard of the fallen immortal plane that we can't enter. These people tried several times but still couldn't enter the fallen immortal plane. Maybe it's maintenance. Let's go and kill some monsters first. We'll come back later. 3 hours later. In the Galaxy Server District 19, all the players received a system notification. Player Solipsistic represents all the players in District 19 to increase the difficulty of the game to Hell mode. What? Hell mode? It's that guy again. We're being represented by that guy again. Player Solipsistic represents all the players in District 19 to increase the difficulty of the game to the highest difficulty, Hell mode. Damn. What? Hell mode. There's even a purgatory tier? Is there a mistake? Why are there 2 announcements at the same time? It can't be that fast. It's over. It's really Hell mode. Our team was killed by a monster that was 4 levels lower than us. Instant kill. The real Hell mode is here. From now on, this second heaven will become the real Hell mode. Does anyone know how to change servers? Can anyone tell me? I can't take it anymore. I want to change servers. Change my S. This is the Galaxy server. How can you change servers? You can't change servers for the rest of your life. Of course, there were a lot of people who paid attention to the PvP arena. They knew that there was no lack of super strong players in Hell mode in other servers. However, those who came out of the advanced mode server were extremely strong. It was inevitable. Only by surviving in a difficult environment would one have the chance to become stronger than others. In front of the door of life and death, the 5 people from the Wood Mansion who were preparing to clear the dungeon stopped and looked at each other. He really increased the difficulty of the game to Hell mode. That lunatic. Sigh, this is great. I thought that this training would be easier. Now, it has become the most miserable team in the family. Xiao Tian smiled. Actually, it's a good thing. Only by rushing to the third heaven without relying on the family's power can we shut the others up. Geo Air looked at the sky in the north. Did that guy unlock purgatory? Nothing could stop him. That meant that he might be going to complete the last mission of the second heaven soon. Spiritual Martial Apothecary. A super heavenly domain boss that most people didn't have the chance to see. Could he win this time? The core team of the Wild Waves team killed the monsters in front of them and surrounded Lung Nua. Nua, the guild leader has increased the difficulty of the game. Luckily, we were prepared and didn't panic just now. Lung Nua, Ning Shuang, and Lu Yi looked at the sky above the forest in the north. They didn't know where that person was now. Hell mode is beneficial for us to become stronger. This is an opportunity for us. Lung Nua took a deep breath and said to everyone, continue to level up. We must rely on ourselves to rise in this Hell mode world. But we've been prepared for a long time. I want to find that irresponsible master in the third heaven. Yes, rely on ourselves. No more relying on Mad God. Fallen immortal planes. Both of their health points had recovered to full. Lu Chen took a deep breath and looked at the mountain man opposite him. You didn't disappoint me. The mountain man smiled. You have also far exceeded my expectations. You're going to find spiritual martial apothecary next, right? Lu Chen nodded. I have to do this quest. I have to find Louis. Yes, that guy is very strong. You might not be able to defeat him. Lu Chen didn't say anything. This is my gift to you. The mountain man threw 2 items to Lu Chen. Immortal weapon, staff of Ksitigarbha. Heavenly technique, Buddha's salvation. A monk's technique and weapon? Lu Chen looked at the mountain man in surprise. What's so strange about that? You have all classes? The mountain man smiled. Remember, you have to be very careful when fighting spiritual martial apothecary. Because if you lose, you might really return to the first heaven. He has such a skill. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes. Thanks. Chapter 435. After the battle with the mountain man, solipsistic activated the solipsistic difficulty. At the same time, solipsistic disappeared. A month later, people began to adapt to the purgatory difficulty. More teams had to find allies to help them through the difficulties. Due to the sudden increase in difficulty, the battles in the second heavens seemed to have ceased. Everyone was busy adapting to the new difficulty as soon as possible. The bounty hunter group hadn't had any business for a long time. There were fewer and fewer rich people in the district, so their business naturally became bleak. It was worth mentioning that from the increase in difficulty to the hard difficulty and then to the purgatory difficulty, the player's living space was getting smaller and smaller. However, it stimulated the development of life skills. Potioneering, refining, fishing, cooking, talisman crafting, and other professions became important ways to earn money. However, under the super difficulty, the drop rate was also more terrifying than ever before. The quality of the dropped equipment was also greatly improved. The Radiant Moon werewolves could drop dark gold firearms. At the same time, the players on Earth quietly developed under the increased difficulty of the game. On one hand, although the difficulty of the game increased, they still had Lu Chen's personal dungeon. The difficulty of the dungeon seemed to be independent of the system, and it had become a training ground. On the other hand, Green Wolf had indeed been farmed to level 1. With so many people farming him, it was already good that he didn't get into the negatives. His super powerful equipment was taken by the Earth Alliance. The strongest among them was the Sanqing sword. It was said that there was a huge dispute within the Earth Alliance over the ownership of this set of equipment. In the end, it was decided that the strongest players in the main forces would compete for the equipment dropped by Green Wolf. This time, Stardust, Handsome, Sheik, Lu Yingning Shuang, and the others had become the strongest competitors. After all, Lu Chen had personally trained them before. Wild Wave's level was now several levels higher than all the other players on Earth. With the equipment that Jiu Air gave them, they were like a tiger that had grown wings. After more than a year of development, Wild Waves, which used to be a ragtag team, had finally become one of the strongest guilds in the world. A month later, at the finals of the tournament, Wild Waves and the others were competing in different venues. Sister Nuo, Brother Black Hole won easily. That set of pauldrons is already ours. 10 Steps came back to report the good news. Leng Nuo nodded. 10 Steps sighed. Our guild has already snatched 2 pieces of equipment. I never thought that we would be so strong now. Floral Fragrance slapped 10 Steps step heavily. Are you stupid? Our guild is already very strong. 10 Steps scratched his head and smiled embarrassedly. Hey, I was just lamenting. We used to be bullied by friendship every day. Leng Nuo smiled slightly. That's right. But she didn't know why, but after the guild became stronger, she wasn't as happy as she had imagined. She still remembered the time when the president asked her with a smile, "Were you bullied?" She still couldn't forget how touched she was at that time. The guild was getting stronger and stronger, but the guild leader was getting further and further away. If she could, she would rather go back to the beginning. 10 Steps, tell me the truth. Do you blame the president? Thinking of that person, Leng Nuo looked at 10 Steps. Strange boss? How was that possible? We all know what kind of person Boss is. When he stabbed out with his sword, I already understood. 10 steps stopped smiling. It's just that, ever since that sword strike, I had a feeling that the guild leader might not come back to see us. The atmosphere was somewhat heavy. After a long time, Hua Xiong sighed and looked at the plains behind her. Do you still remember the first time you met the president? We thought he would be killed by wild monsters. Everything seems to have happened yesterday. But from now on, the president will have to challenge even more unpredictable and powerful enemies alone. That's right. Boss has been in the purgatory mode for a month. Why hasn't he gone to the third heaven domain? Is there no announcement for going to the third heaven domain? There is an announcement, but it's only for the players in the world. Yeah, it's been a month. Why hasn't he gone? At the border of the fallen immortal plains, there were mountains. Beyond the mountains, there was an endless ocean. Lu Chen didn't know whether it was an ocean or a huge river like the River of Forgetfulness. In the middle of the steep mountain peak, a wide river with rapid flow fell straight down, forming a spectacular waterfall. Halfway up the mountain near the waterfall, there was a person sitting on a flat rock protruding out of the mountain. Behind him, a group of divine beast cubs and rare pets were playing around. But these couldn't disturb that person's cultivation. This person was Lu Chen. After the battle with the mountain people, he didn't go directly to the spiritual martial apothecary. If the mountain people said that person was very strong, then he was definitely very strong. During this period of time, he had been cultivating his cultivation method here. One was the 3 transformations of gods and demons, and the other was the newly obtained Buddha saves all lives. The little guys usually went to the mountains to kill monsters to help Lu Chen level up. When they were tired, they would return to Lu Chen to rest. Now was their time to rest. This cultivation lasted from morning to late at night. This cultivation had been going on for a month, and it would continue. But people needed to rest. Late at night, Lu Chen opened his eyes slightly and looked back. The army members were still keeping watch, but the little guys were already asleep. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. He stood up and stretched his arms and legs. The second transformation is good enough. There's still the third transformation, Buddha saves all lives. It's still a few months. Damn, it takes a few months to learn a skill. Are all heaven-level skills so crazy? Forget it. I'm going to level up anyway. There's no need to rush. After sitting for a long time, he needed to move. The 3 transformations of gods and demons didn't need to be practiced. They were all skills that added attributes. Buddha saves all lives only had 1 move, so it didn't need to be practiced. On the other hand, Lu Chen didn't have the chance to study Phantom Shadows. There were 3 moves in Phantom Shadows. The first move, Ghost Parade, created a large number of illusions. He had already used this move in the battle with Qing Lang. But the power of Phantom Shadows didn't lie in creating a large number of illusions. Phantom Shadows alone couldn't be considered an advanced Earth-level movement skill. The second move, Phantom Shadow Descent. His real body could appear in any of the illusions. From the second move onward, the power of Phantom Shadows was truly displayed. There were 300 illusions. As long as the illusions still existed, he could appear in any of them. Phantom Shadows moved very quickly. After appearing, it was even harder to catch them. The third move, Ghost Possession. All the illusions created before could transform into other people's appearances and entangle the enemy. They ignored evasion methods such as movement and clones. The illusions themselves didn't attack. They were only afraid of Heaven's wrath attacks. At the same time, the user could still appear in any of the illusions. After appearing, the Ghost Possession effect would disappear. Ghost Possession was the essence of Phantom Shadows. With 300 Ghost Possession, he could appear in any of them. This meant that Lu Chen had 300 chances to get close. Anyone who got close to Lu Chen knew that if this guy got close to them, it was almost as if they could prepare to return to the reincarnation realm. I need to practice this skill more. After saying that, Lu Chen directly activated the skill. Beside the uninhabited waterfall, hundreds of ghosts instantly appeared. Then, Lu Chen quickly appeared. Chapter 436. 2 months later, the players tenaciously adapted to the purgatory difficulty. More and more teams in the wild were trying to hunt a monster. One had to admit that humans had a lot of potential. 3 months later, the quiet 19th district began to become active again. Teams could already be seen fighting in the wild. For months, 5 months, half a year later, the players in the 19th district finally fully adapted to the purgatory difficulty. At this time, many people's equipment had been upgraded. The overall strength of the 19th district had increased a lot after this disaster. However, people seemed to have forgotten that there was still one person who said that he wanted to defeat the super boss in the purgatory difficulty. The heavenly boss that no one wanted to face, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Even the people from the major factions were not willing to raise the difficulty of the game to purgatory level. The reason was probably related to that terrifying existence. On this day, in the depths of the fallen immortal plane, someone saw a 9-winged celestial dragon flying out from the mountains. In the sky, above the clouds, the 9-winged celestial dragon was domineering. It roared and flashed past. Although people could not see the figure on the 9-winged celestial dragon, wherever the 9-winged celestial dragon passed, divine beasts, monsters, mutated beasts, and magic treasure mounts were forced to surrender. Only one person had such a domineering mount. Damn, this is too much. I have a dark gold mount too. Why did it make way for him? He's back? It's been half a year. He's going to... Do you still need to ask? The only place that's attractive to him is the second heaven. The Tower of Babel. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. He's going to challenge the Tower of Babel. Quick, go offline and watch the live stream. The news spread like wildfire in the 19th district. Not only in the 19th district, but also through the heart-refining courtyard, the news quickly spread among many human galaxies. Earth Village. Mad God appeared? He's going to challenge the Tower of Babel. Let's watch the live stream. You're still calling him Mad God? Has he forgotten all about us? But we still have to see how strong he has become. The Purgatory difficulty boss. The second heaven players said that we can only hope that he'll be the first to defeat the boss. Only by lowering the boss's attributes can we have hope to defeat it in the future. Stop talking nonsense and log off. Usually, there would be a sea of people here, but suddenly, the number of online players dropped sharply. There were not even a few people in sight. Heart Refinement Courtyard. The boss still has half of its health left. Hey, Solipsistic is going to challenge the Heaven Domain boss. Someone saw him heading towards the Tower of Babel. Really? I'm sorry, but it's fine if we don't fight this boss. We have to watch the live stream. I want to see if he's as strong as the legends say. Group 7. After Sengoku Yenran got the news, she was stunned. He's gone? He then quickly went offline. The 5 members of the Wood Mansion's team were registering for the Azura Arena. Right now, the most popular matches. The ticket taker was checking the information. At this moment, Xiao Tian suddenly went offline for a short while before quickly returning to normal. Solipsistic has appeared. He's going to challenge Tong Tian Tower. TSK then hurry up and go offline. Xiao Tian nodded and said to the ticket seller, Senior, I'm sorry, but we won't be challenging it for now. We have a friend who wants to challenge Tong Tian Tower, and we want to watch the live broadcast. Solipsistic? The ticket taker frowned as the image of that silly kid appeared in his mind. He's your friend? Yes. Xiao Tian smiled. As a member of the Wood Mansion, he obviously knew that the person who was talking to them was not an NPC. His attitude was very humble. The old man smiled and shook his head. I didn't expect that guy to be so strong. Back then, I gave him a lot of advice, and that kid listened more seriously than anyone else. Anyway, if he could save some energy, he definitely wouldn't waste any energy. A purgatory difficulty boss. That kid should have met that guy. The 5 members of the Wood Mansion had already gone offline. The ticket taker thought for a while and decided that since no one was coming, he might as well quit for once. At most, he would lose some achievement points. The mountain man drank a cup of tea in front of his straw hut and was slightly lost in thought. Kid, you're out of the mountain? Hee hee, Let me see how strong you've become. Then he disappeared in a flash. District 2, District 49, District 44, the Python Beast King, Sunset Master and Disciple, Pango Force King, and many others, no matter what they were doing, quickly put down what they were doing and went offline. That person was going to challenge the Purgatory Tower of Babel. There was nothing more important than this. In the sky, Lu Chen stood on the dragon's head and looked down at the land. Was there a level 80 main city in front of him? Further ahead, among the mountains, there was a towering tower that pierced the sky. Lu Chen's heart was as calm as still water as he looked at the huge tower indifferently. Babel Tower. He opened his quest tab and there was only one quest, Sanctimonious. Lu Yi, I hope to see you again. When the time comes, you must help me refine it again. Right now, my wild monster form is a little unpresentable. Lu Chen shook his head. As he got closer to the Babel Tower, Lu Chen gradually put away his other thoughts. Nine-winged dragon, go down. The nine-winged sky dragon swooped down from the clouds straight to the ground. The strong wind blew, lifting Lu Chen's short hair, and his red battle robe fluttered. In mid-air, Lu Chen directly jumped down and retracted his nine-winged sky dragon at the same time. A moment later, he landed with a loud crash. In front of the Babel Tower, Lu Chen was as small as an ant. He took a deep breath, the battle intent in his heart still burning. He stepped forward and walked toward the Babel Tower. The moment Lu Chen entered the Babel Tower, countless viewers who had been waiting for a long time in the official livestream finally saw that figure. Gold ID, solipsistic. Red outfit, wild blood sword god. Against the water scale sword hanging by his side. On his back, there was a strong black bow. But this time, Lu Chen had an additional Buddhist staff on his back, faintly flashing with white light. Why does Mad God have an additional weapon? Is that dark gold or orange equipment? The color doesn't seem right. White light? Could it be celestial equipment? Wait, why can Mad God use the Buddhist staff? Maybe it's an all-class weapon. Mad God seems to be able to use any weapon. Forget it, let's watch first. In front of Lu Chen, a huge 20-meter-tall iron door was tightly shut. Lu Chen let out a sigh. This time, I don't have to use the left and right hand keys. Not bad, it saves me some time. With one hand pressed on the iron door, Lu Chen pushed hard. With a low creak, the iron door slowly opened in front of him. The entire boss room was filled with green fog. As soon as he stepped into the room, Lu Chen's HP began to drop. Minus 50,000, minus 50,000. 50,000 every second. Debuff, vicious forbidden area, lose 50,000 HP every second. There is no duration. This means that from the moment you enter this room, you will have to spend the rest of your life losing HP. Debuff, blocked meridians, all skill damage reduced by 20%, cooldown increased by 20%. Debuff, poison explosion, explodes once every 10 seconds. Total damage is 50% of all poison damage received during this period. You will be poisoned without even seeing the person. With just these 3 debuffs, many people might not even be able to see Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's face and would have already fallen. However, the person hiding in the poisonous fog did not seem to intend to avoid meeting him. A strange voice came from the depths of the poisonous fog. I heard, you want to kill me? Lu Chen looked toward the voice and saw a figure gradually emerging from the green fog. Before he could see his face clearly, he could see his mouth open. You've kept me waiting. Solipsistic. Chapter 437. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. This boss actually knew about him. As the person walked out of the green poisonous fog, Lu Chen finally saw how the person looked like. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary no longer looked human. This person was about 5 to 6 meters tall and wore a long robe. One could vaguely see that he was burly, but his face was haggard and dark. His strong body and corpse-like face formed an extremely uncomfortable contrast. Compared to this person, the old woman in front of the Bridge of Helplessness was like a delicate little sister. Speaking of which, I still have to thank you. It has been a long time since someone raised the difficulty to purgatory level. I spent every day in boredom. I can finally come out for some fresh air. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary twisted his neck and made a gurgling sound. Now, with every second that passed, Lu Chen's HP was decreasing. 950 million HP? Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary easily knew Lu Chen's HP limit. Your HP is really exaggerated. Unfortunately, in front of me, you are still as fragile as paper. Lu Chen snorted. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary, it feels good to step on other people's corpses to reach where you are today. So what? In this world, the strong are respected and the winner is the king. The king can change history and let the future generations sing praises for him. As for the loser, only white bones are left. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary grinned. When I reach the peak of the second heaven, I can go to a higher heaven region. But what about Louis? She is still at the first heaven. Moreover, you should know very well why Divine Herbalist Valley became Ghost Valley. Unfortunately, Louis realized it too late. When she hardened her heart, she no longer had the ability to control her own fate. To be ruthless, one must be ruthless and decisive, right? Lu Chen looked coldly at this somewhat crazy person. Speaking of which, there seemed to be some similarities between the two of them. The desire to be strong. Obviously, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was very excited now. Solipsistic, don't tell me that you have not stepped on other people's corpses along the way. Therefore, you have no right to judge me. The 10 seconds were up. Lu Chen suddenly received 500,000 points of damage. In addition to the previous 10 seconds of damage, his HP had dropped by 1/7. Lu Chen shook his head and smiled indifferently. Blah blah blah. Judge you? I think you're mistaken. I don't need to go through a trial to kill you. Jiu couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. This fellow was still so arrogant. Lu Chen drew the abyssal dragon crystal bow from his back, his eyes emitting green mist. Those who were familiar with Lu Chen knew that only when Lu Chen was extremely angry would he lose control of his body. But this time, before the battle had even begun, such a situation had already occurred. What's going on with boss? 10 Steps asked worriedly. On the other hand, Lu Yi's expression was solemn. She still remembered when her brother was 1v1 with the ace mid-laner of the world champion team back then. Back then, her brother's expression was very similar to now. When fighting with such an expert, the slightest mistake could lead to defeat. So, from the start, one had to be 120% focused and go all out. Is he going to get serious? Stardust narrowed his eyes slightly. God of War Possession. Demon Transformation. Lightless Sky Flame Pillar. Black Coffin Dead Zone. Lu Chen activated all 4 moves at the start. He stared at the opponent in front of him. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary revealed a cruel smile. Is it starting? Very good. I can't wait anymore. I really want to turn you into a voodoo person. Shinnong's Protection. Poison Master's Possession. A golden light flashed across Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary's body. Shinnong's Protection. After receiving an attack, recover 40% of the attack's HP and continuously recover 40% of the damage's HP for 5 seconds. One Shinnong's Protection was equivalent to reducing 80% of the attack's damage. Moreover, it was in the form of healing. In other words, any type of damage was the same. Then, a huge virtual image of an unknown species appeared behind Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. It was even bigger than the God of War Possession. It was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws like a ghost. Poison Master's Possession. Increase poison attack by 100%. After receiving an attack, the enemy will be poisoned. At the same time, the enemy will obtain the effect of life steal. After receiving all poisoned effects, the enemy will recover the same amount of HP for themselves. The excess HP will be in the form of a life shield. Seeing these 2 buffs, the group of people was dumbfounded. Fuck, is this Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary? He is a medicine and poison master. His HP recovery is too insane. With these 2 skills, I doubt anyone can kill him. After receiving an attack, he can recover 80% of his HP. He can even poison his opponent. If his opponent is poisoned, he can recover his own HP. His total HP recovery is even higher than the damage received. That's too perverted. This is only his passive buff. Have you forgotten the debuff on Solipsistic? He has been poisoned by Forbidden Poisonous Land and Poison Outbreak. This is also a poison effect. That means that Lingwu Duzuan is already stealing life. It's true. Lingwu Duzuan already has a life shield. Damn, can anyone really defeat this kind of boss? I don't believe it. Others were shocked, while Lu Chen's friends were left with only despair at this time. Oh my god, there's no way out. I suspect that even if Green Wolf encountered this guy, he would only be killed. Boss, what should we do? There's no way to fight this. It's too difficult. There's really no way out. Boss. Sigh, Lu Chen looked coldly at Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. To be honest, the two skills that this guy used at the beginning were already enough to make him feel pressured. The damage of the medic was not good. However, the consensus view in Jiutian was that the medic was definitely the hardest to kill among all the major professions. If the damage was not enough, he could exhaust you to death. The weakness of the medic was perfectly compensated by the Poison Master. The Poison Master was one of the most difficult professions to deal with. Other than the Puppet Master, even the tank would not want to face a Poison Master. Therefore, some people chose to practice both medicine and poison. A powerful medicine master who practiced both medicine and poison was definitely a nightmare for all professions. Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary was obviously the strongest medicine master and poison master in the second heaven. He even had the ability to go to the third heaven. According to Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary himself, he did not go to the third heaven because he was pursuing the ultimate goal. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chen's blood began to boil. Lu Yi, I really have to thank you for finding me such an interesting opponent. I'm very excited. Excited? I'll make you regret entering this door later. Let's start with the appetizer. Berserk Demon King. Green Wolf also had this skill. Seeing this skill, the hearts of the Earth players tightened. Both players' pain increased by 300%. However, Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary had an additional buff. Absolute Medicine Body. Loss of Pain Nerves. Damn, it can be like this? This Berserk Demon King is a godly skill tailor-made for him. In the battlefield, there was a short silence for a few seconds. Suddenly, the two super strong players moved at the same time as if they had agreed beforehand. 7 stars chasing moon. Flash shot. A figure like a ghost shot out an arrow instantly. Star poison body. Instant poison. The other turned into a green mist and instantly pierced through the solipsistic who was moving at high speed. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.